What's up, guys? So it's bit of a trying day, a lot of up and downs, but we're here to talk about it. So it's just me and Foster tonight. I don't know if PJ's coming. He might show up and grace us with his presence if he's not too busy. And Dan is of course out in New Orleans for the holidays, so you got to deal with us. So Foster, what do you think? 26-31 Lions.
Man, there's so many things. Like even just to start with, there's mistakes from top to bottom. Great performances by many players.
Yeah,
I don't know.
that's
There's
true.
we gotta go back to the beginning, man. So uh,
Um, Lead us
you,
off.
you want to start like my first thing is when I was watching this game, I'm like I can accept all the mistakes
Hmm.
and all the things that we should have done and didn't do, like uh, JJ with those two potential interceptions. So
Yeah,
I'm like evaluating him more and more, and I'm like, he's a very good defensive back, and he makes very good plays. But great defensive backs make great plays, man.
no,
You
that's
got
true.
you got to pick the ball when it's in your chest. You got to take advantage of those situations. Uh, who's
Yeah, and
who's in control here, man? Vegas with I think there was 8 penalties that I went through and counted and missed. I know there's 6 for sure that weren't called against the Bears. God knows how many they missed in the whole game from everybody. I mean, that weren't called against the Lions. And then the coaching staff just being afraid to make a play. I think I got pissed off the most. As a matter of fact, if PJ was here, because I did this, when it was 3rd and 5 and we ran into an 8-man front to pick up 1 yard or 2 yards and kick a field goal, I texted you and PJ, we just lost the game. And
I know.
that was when we kicked the field goal. There was still 4.5 minutes left, and PJ's like, "What?" I said, "We just lost the fucking game, man," because I knew what was going to happen. This
Yeah.
super soft cover zone. Oh, let them get 10 yards every time. Bullshit. So as far as I'm concerned, it's the play calling for the offense there that screwed us. Because why not try a stupid bubble screen, or maybe over the middle? There was shit in the middle all day. All we had to do was get behind it in the zone. Fields played a great game. I don't care what anybody says. The people are going to complain about he didn't have that many passing yards. 270 yards of offense by our quarterback. Anybody else in this league would take that. You can win with a guy like that. He's just got to continue to do that to prove that he's the guy.
Oh, of course.
Too,
You
too much to talk about. Too much, man. I don't know if you got shit. Are we even playing an opener? Because I'm just steaming still. And that game's how
Oh,
many hours
no opener tonight. No dance party here. Shorty is well,
There
he's
we
in
go.
chat, but
Yep.
we're just going right off the cuff tonight. But
Yeah. So I think maybe I don't know what you got to say. I'll kind of gather my thoughts. I just had like an hour worth of shit when I was supposed to have everything in order, and just shit hit the fan on my end. It made the day even worse.
that's all right. Don't worry about it. We'll get to it all. You'll remember it. Let's start off with some bright points. It's a night of first on the defense, though. I mean, I know they blew the game at the end, but we saw Montez Sweat first sack of the year from Jack Sanborn, first career interception of Tyreek Stevenson, who should have got the game ball if they won
Yeah.
that game. So there definitely were some nice points, and we'll go into Justin Fields in a little bit. But let's give credit where credit's due for those guys. Oh, look who's here! It's PJ.
PJ sighting. PJ sighting.
What's happening, fellas?
What's up, PJ?
How you guys doing?
PJ.
Doing good, man. Living the
Are you
dream.
going to really ask me that kind of crap tonight? No, I'm joking, dude.
No, we're just quickly going over the night of first to kind of ease people into this moratorium, so to speak, of the game.
We're looking
You
at
know,
some positives, Pete. Go ahead,
yeah.
Walter. We didn't mean to interrupt you, but we did it.
No, it's fine. PJ's here. So what do you think of things like Tyreek Stevenson getting his first interception?
Well, upon further review, um, I noticed that Brisker hit the guy, knocked the guy off his route. I mean, it was a great catch, but I'm glad they didn't call pass interference. I'm I'm kind of leaning towards Tyreek. He might be more of a slot. than the outside corner because he likes to play physical. So I'm thinking he might be more of a slot type corner, nickelback.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, he always played with a lot of fire, and that's what I like about him.
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
I wouldn't say he's a Jalen Ramsey, but he plays that style of football.
Yeah, he's very physical,
Yeah,
very physical.
no, I think you need that. You can't always be, I'm just gonna run around, maybe cover the guy, knock the ball down. Sometimes you got to punch him in the mouth.
I'm curious to know. I guess we could look it up. Who's faster between him and Gordon?
I'm not sure. I
Because
don't know.
I know Gordon got some of that quick twitch to him, but I don't know how physical Gordon is because he's kind of a lighter frame. So
Hmm.
that's my concern there.
Okay. What do you think, Foster? If you had to pick a bright moment, what would it be of those three guys?
No, I was doing this because I was listening to Pete and I'm going, let us just say hi to everybody real quick, man, and then we'll get back to this because there's a bunch of stuff in the chat we can even address.
Yeah, let's do it.
Robbie, come up. Thanks for showing up. Cliff, I'm doing a quick version of you, Pete. Walt was in there talking. Cornelius, Cliff there, Bearsky, Paulie, thanks for popping in here. STC Scott, thanks for popping in tonight, man. Last minute thing here, kind of. Well, not last minute, but earlier today. I don't know who else. Oh, Mr. Mayhem 69, always around. Thanks for popping in, dude. Hair Bear. First thing he said was PJ too. That freaking guy.
Hair Bear's my man. Hair Bear's my man.
And Dirty was in here too. My connection is absolutely fucking terrible. I had a hard time even getting on here tonight for some reason. So sorry about that.
That's all right. But to answer your question, PJ, quickly, Cliff does have the numbers here. Once they come up in the chat, I'll pull them up for you. Here we go. So he has Gordon at a 4.52 and Brisker at a 4.49.
No, not Brisker. I was thinking of Stevenson.
Oh, I thought you said Brisker.
Yeah, if I said Brisker, my apologies. I was
That's
talking about the two corners. My fault, Cliff.
I mean, really, if anything is around that general vicinity, it's unnoticeable unless you're timing it.
Yeah. And that only takes you so far, man.
Mm-hmm.
That only takes you so far because it's what they do on the field. Butkus was a slow fucking dude, but 10, 15 yards any which way, he was one of the quickest guys ever. So it's game speed, man. We know that. Look at Cliff said 4.45 for Stevenson. So these guys are all quick, man. That's Pole's MO.
Yeah.
And that's a good thing. That's positive. There was a lot of positives in this game, especially.
I agree. I agree.
Even with all the crap, the first 55 minutes were pretty damn positive.
Yeah. No, definitely. It was a good game to watch. It started off nice. We had the lead, and then the wheels just fell off at the end.
No, they started playing conservative. We ran 10 times in a row on that last drive, and that was great. But on a 3rd and 5, man, you gotta stick the dagger all the way in and twist it instead of running into the gut, running right up the middle where there's 8 guys in the box, there's 7 and 2 coming up, because you're not gonna get the 5 yards there, man. You hope you might, but the minute they did that and they kicked the field goal, they kind of just said, "Okay, we're gonna settle for this win the way it is," and then started playing that give them 8-9 yards per reception on the return drive by the Lions, man. Twice we did it.
Mm-hmm. Now,
you're not
just to branch
like
off. No, we're not. Just to branch off this a little bit, I do want to bring up Jericho Thomas here. Thanks for joining us too, by the way, Jericho. You're saying you're out on Justin Fields. Now, I agree with the second part of your statement. They can't keep the coaching staff, but I want to ask, after today's performance, why are you out on Justin Fields if you're still here?
Good question.
I can't be out on him.
I mean, I left the game. Well, guys, I text you guys and I told you like halfway through the game, I'm like, I'm down with Fields. I mean, I'm with him. I think, he's not the greatest quarterback ever, but I've seen enough of him to say we can win a Super Bowl with him if we have other pieces.
Easily, yeah. I think he showed that today too.
Yeah.
He can. Now, I don't know why the hell I can't think of his name, but he can definitely be a better. What's his name in Baltimore, dude?
Oh, Lamar
Lamar
Jackson.
Jackson.
Yeah.
I don't even
do you
compare them.
think or I'm wrong? I think he can be a better version of him and become more of a guy that can stay in the pocket eventually. You got to just play the games. You got to get the experience to do that. But based on the last 4 performances, and Minnesota was a garbage performance, but I'll throw it in there.
Right.
Denver, Washington, Minnesota, and today, how could you not want this guy on your team, especially at the cost that it's going to be?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you gotta play him, man. You gotta play him, and I'd stick with him, honestly.
You guys in the chat can slam me for this, but I already make this controversial statement. I would take Fields over Josh Allen right now.
I wouldn't roast you for that, honestly.
Man.
I'm not really too sold on Josh Allen. He likes to play a lot of hero ball, and you know, it's funny because you're watching the game today. You know, he's throwing these interceptions. Where, I mean, it was a Hail Mary, so whatever, it happens.
Right.
But he's getting a lot of, you know, the blame is being pushed off on other people. You know, Dorsey lost his job because of this. And all that, you know, I'll get to Harry Barry. Definitely said, you know, you have a QB rating over 100, you're doing something right.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean because I'm serious. I mean, watching that game today with the Fields, man. I'm sorry to interrupt you, Walt. I apologize.
No. Go ahead.
I mean, looking at it, it's like he has such a zip on that ball that, I mean, I'm not trying to compare the two, but then again, I am. That Bajent just didn't have. It's like he can like really put some zing on it, man. It's like that ball get there in a hurry, and that's encouraging for me. I mean, can you imagine him with DJ Moore and Marvin Harrison Jr.? Oh my goodness. Now, I will say though, with that scenario, I haven't seen him and Mooney's connection too well this year. Seemed like Mooney was having a better connection with Bajent, if I'm being honest.
Mooney's been kind of off and on since the Kansas City and the Washington games. He just hasn't really been there.
Yeah,
so to speak.
I don't know if that's coaching or Justin is not looking his way, but I mean, you know, there's been plays, but it's not like it was. But now he's not the number one guy like he was 2 years ago.
True.
So,
if I remember correctly, I think Justin tried to throw in the ball 2 or 3 times and seemed like he overthrew him all times.
I know he got credited with 1 target for that 1 catch he had. I don't know if there was a second one that they didn't add on.
There was one where he went from the right to the left across the field, and the Fields led him, and it I think the ball probably went out of bounds. No, it was like right before out of bounds, the ball went out of.
Oh yeah, they didn't even credit that they didn't even credit that to Mooney.
Oh, they didn't?
Nope. He's got 1 and he's got the catch. That's all they gave him. That when I looked. I mean, they could change that, but
right. Because I think he could have been doubled if I'm not mistaken. But the ball fell, I want to say 3 to 5 yards in front of him.
Well, I was going to say, it appeared to me that Fields just threw it in his direction instead of taking a sack. So,
could have been. But it landed in the field of play.
That's a smart play. Instead of taking a 7 or 8 yard loss, let's just get nothing because we're not going to get nothing. Those are little things like that people didn't probably even pay attention to. You know, they're going to judge Field and not even pay attention to that one little thing, or they don't think of it like that. Let's see, I'm going to get sacked. There's no way Mooney's going to catch this. I'm going to throw it 5 yards before him, and I'm going to make sure it bounces off the ground. So nobody can catch it because Mooney ain't going to get it, and I'm not risking the interception.
Yeah, but Bearsky poses a question, here. Goes, question, PJ, does Fields succeed more than Allen if he's on the Bills? Does Allen do better than Fields on the Bears? Before we get off the subject of Josh Allen, I did just want to bring this up for him. And Bearsky, I did get your message in chat that you sent the email. Unfortunately, I don't have access to that, so I can't pull that up.
Excuse me. That's a good question. I think, as I told you guys also in our private text messages, I'm not a fan of Fields running the ball on design runs. Uh,
Yeah.
I prefer, I mean, yeah, if the play breaks down, he escapes. But all those design runs, I think that wears and tears on your body. I see Allen does a lot of that in Buffalo. So I I don't like that. So to best answer this question, I think Allen would probably do okay if they want to do those design runs for him here because he has that bigger body. What, 6'5", 230 pounds. Fields is what, 6'3", 225 pounds. I just I'm just not a fan of that because I'm so afraid of my quarterback getting hurt. So I would rather, because I think he rushed the ball what, 18 times today.
Something
Incredible.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, dude, that's just
Yeah.
incredible. I would much rather have him, yeah, drop back, play. I mean, nothing there, take off running then. But the design runs, let's save him, man, because I'm not trying to see him hurt again.
Yeah, he
The
had
only
more
time I
rushing
want to see
attempts
it
than
does.
Khalil Herbert.
I was just gonna say the only time I want to see a design run, maybe, and not every time, is occasionally on a third one or a fourth and one. But other than
Right?
that,
I
I don't.
agree.
Why put him in harm's danger, man? He's going to take off
Yeah,
in a passing situation when he's got the lane and he's clear and he knows he's going to be able to slide. Although
right.
today, twice he slid and he got hit as he was
And he still got
sliding.
hit. Yeah,
No freaking flag. And then
none.
when Goff slid, we just stood up and didn't even touch the guy. We've got that much respect. But yet
Man. Yeah,
twice as he's sliding, he was hit 2 times
yeah,
and no freaking flag, man. That's the other thing that I want to bitch about is who owns the freaking league? Vegas? I'm looking at the money going around because everybody bet on the Lions. But the greatest thing that happened for Vegas today is the Bears covered again because they didn't have a lot of people betting on the Bears, believe it or not. Well, everybody knew that.
yeah.
So I get sick of that. And then, like I said, there were 6 or 8 penalties that were not called against Detroit. What about the penalty where they call it on Wright, and as the play's happening, and we talked about this, Walt, who's the
Yeah.
pass rusher? He's holding his arm, but the penalty's on Wright.
Oh yeah, yeah.
You remember
Okay.
that? Anybody remember that?
Yeah, I
Because what
remember
the
that
hell
play.
was
Yeah,
that?
yeah.
There's
Look,
10
wasn't that-
things, man. I wrote up a list of stuff and I just forgot it. I left it at my house because I got other crap going on that made my day even more aggravating. Let alone the Bears shit,
I think the one that really got me was the crackback block on Patrick that knocked him out the game. On
That
the
was a penalty.
No, they didn't call it. Yeah,
I know.
yeah,
Even though it wasn't picked off
right.
and the play was over, it's okay to do that.
Yeah,
I hope they
that
hand
was
out
just
some
wrong.
damn fines this week, man.
Yeah, that was just wrong. Sorry.
You're absolutely right. That was bull.
Yeah,
And I know Bearsky says Flags didn't lose this game yet because there weren't enough of them fucking thrown. I could throw that in there too. If they would have called the shit, the Bears would have been even in a better position. But at the end of the day, Getsy getting soft with the offense and Flus playing soft with the defense. That's it.
Yeah, I mean, let's pivot on this a little bit and let's go to what Cliff Victoria is saying about how about Scott slowing down. I mean, there's a couple of things we can talk about Tyler Scott, so let's get on that subject. Let's start with the fumble. What do you think?
Stop the Tyler Scott fumble because I want to address Bearsky. He says, but Foster,
Okay.
I felt we got more flags our way than usual. You can't sit here and complain about missed calls when we collapsed. No, I can't, but I just did because there should have been more. Just call the game fairly every fucking week. Call the game fairly every week. Call the shit you see. I know there's going to be shit they're going to miss. But some of this play, dude, Dexter, his right arm is being held to his body. He's got the guy's wrapped around it. So he reaches over with his other arm and blocks the pass anyways. But there still should have been a flag thrown on that because it was a penalty.
that was a sneaky good hold though. I ain't gonna lie, that was sneaky good old. That was pretty
Yeah,
good.
absolutely.
I was like, wow, I haven't seen one of those in a while.
I watched 3 games today, and there was probably 18 to 20 penalties that weren't called in those games. I'm counting the Bears game too. So
Yeah,
the referee thing, I just think there needs to be something done with it. This is just ridiculous. Okay, yeah, we got all these calls for us today. Somebody got cheated somewhere in this league, and it happens every damn week continuously that a team gets screwed because of the referee's mistakes. Every week.
absolutely.
Illinois had there was a blatant holding against them, and because Iowa is a top tier team and they're playing for stuff in the Big Ten, they just decided to pick that up and let it go. And everybody was screaming and yelling. Nobody could do anything about it. And it goes back to paying out who's betting what. I'm just saying, man. It's just that aspect has to end because I'm sick of watching that for the last 3 fucking years, 5 years with the damn refereeing. So sorry, Walt. Go back to the Scots shit.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Sorry, a video just opened up and like blew in my ears. Okay. Where are we? Tyler Scott. Oh, there we go.
I know, Paulson.
I didn't get a real good look at the fumble, but I did notice on that interception. I'm sorry, incomplete pass. That he slowed down, whether he stumbled, whatever it was, he slowed down and missed the pass by inches.
Nobody touched him either, Peach.
Yeah, I think when you're looking up and you probably lose your balance because you're trying to find a sight of the ball. So a little jab step like that just threw the whole play off. I mean, game of inches. So it was.
I don't know, man. You got to run. You got to run because if he runs and doesn't take that step, the ball comes right into him.
Yeah, I think he like kind of slowed down or something, thinking the ball wasn't going to get there. Then he looked up and said, "Oh, here it is." So that's what it was, is what I thought.
Yeah, somebody said he's used to Bajan throwing him the ball.
See, good point. Because wasn't that him that had that was streaked down the field wide open and Bajan didn't even bother to throw it to him? Was that him?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah. So
in that last game.
Yeah, that could be very, very true. So
he was
I would not be surprised.
He was the clear out going down the middle. That's where he was off the middle. He was running a post. He was the clear out, but he was open.
And whoever made that comment, that's probably what he was thinking, because he didn't get the ball last week when he did. That's probably why he slowed down.
I don't know. You got to make that catch, dude. You're an NFL guy. You got to make that catch. Same with JJ and the picks.
Yeah,
you got to catch those.
We'll definitely get to JJ soon. Tyler Scott. I mean, that first ball hit him right in the chest. He had it and just flying away. You got the golden rules protect the football.
Yeah.
We heard Justin say that. We've heard plenty of people say that across the league. And the funnier part is, if this was Velus Jones Jr., we'd be pushing to get him cut off the team that very moment. So he's getting a little slack here, which I don't know if he actually deserves at this point.
Well, not for long. He might get it now, but it ain't going to be for long if he keeps pulling Velus Jones on us.
I mean, I think it was more so the fact that I gave him a pass, like myself personally, for the fumble. That happens. And then when you have your chance to redeem yourself with the play later on in the game, you also fail at that.
Yeah.
So now, I know you guys were talking, you're not really sure what happened. You go to the clip, you slow it down to about times 20.25. You can see he slows down twice. I think if he slows down once, he probably can still get enough speed to make it there.
Absolutely.
But when he goes to change direction on the route ever so slightly, maybe a couple inches over to the left, he ends up stepping too far over and he loses all his momentum. He then again loses the ball, which everyone's talking about when he turns back, and then loses another step. So now you're what, a centimeter, if not, out of range. You got to get better at that. And that'll come in time. But I'm not sure why he was the main go-to there either way.
Right.
Replace him with Mooney, replace him with DJ Moore.
Yeah.
I love the play, but they should have done that on like prior to that. They had a 2nd and 3, and they should have done that, and they didn't. They do it on a 2nd and 15.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of things that I don't really understand what Luke Getsy does. I don't even know why he still has a job at this moment.
That's
I mean,
that's what I'm
they
getting
should
at, man. It's
they should have just left his ass in Detroit. Honestly, find your own way home. I don't give a shit.
Man,
Absolutely. I was telling Walt earlier, the guy they fired in Buffalo, that offensive coordinator they just fired in Buffalo. I says, bring that fucking dude in here. He can't be any worse than Getsy. At least Buffalo was 500.
yeah,
They have a
I,
little fucking guts, man.
I'm trying to put my finger on it, man. I just can't figure out what Getsy's doing. Um, I mean, while there, it looked like he was doing okay. Then it's like again told you guys, I'm like, I'm not okay. Enough of the read option. Just give a regular handoff, and let's see our big lineman make a hole because that that read option, like I said, Fields running the ball too much, man, and the way he doesn't get penalty called on him, he's going to get cracked one good time, and there goes the season.
Yeah, I mean, I know people are talking about the play itself here in the chat, and we only needed a first down, but at the same time, you have to look at it from the perspective of I know this guy's fast, and he can definitely burn the field. So if he catches that ball, he's gone.
Yeah.
That theoretically could be a touchdown right there, easily.
Yeah,
So taking that ability to really, and I know you said Foster that they let off the gas. Like when you're stepping on the guy's neck, you go until it snaps. You don't just choke him out and
Yep.
then walk away because he can come back and punch you in the face.
He'll come back and stab you in the back.
I
You
mean, so
let
the
the dude
lot.
up. If you got a guy down like that, you let him up on the street, at least here where I live, you're going to have a problem. You're going to be dead or in a fucking hospital. That's only late at night, guys, too. It's not during the day.
and False, you're just a violent guy there, buddy.
I've been out there in the world, Peach. I know you have. I know you've been around, motherfucker.
I mean, Bearsky, let's say the play was designed for Tyler Scott. Let's say he was the main option to go to on this. I don't know. I'm not the play caller. I wasn't there. I'm not in their heads. I'm not going to say either way. But let's just work on the hypothetical that Tyler Scott was the guy for that play, and Justin Fields executed the play.
He did. That it should have just no matter what. The breaking, I don't know. It should have been caught, man. You got to make that play, dude.
Mm-hmm.
But that, now was PJ open on that play? Is that the play we're talking about where PJ was wide open on? Anybody
I don't
know?
remember.
I thought Bearsky said that, but I don't know if that's the same play because I remember seeing him open a couple times when they didn't.
Yeah, I mean we all know Fields is a military guy, or his dad was at least. So they kind of instill you to follow orders, which is part of my criticism of Justin Fields. Sometimes you just got to take over and be like, no, I don't think what you're doing is correct.
His
No,
dad was a cop.
or was it somebody said somewhere he was a also somebody was a military brat somewhere.
Oh, really? Okay. I know
Or
for sure he was a cop though. I know that.
maybe it was a cop and they just got confused when they said that. It could possibly be, but I mean, either way, he's brought up to be like, this is the authority figure. You listen to the authority figure.
Yeah.
You know,
And nothing's wrong with that. I mean, it's like
No.
I think there's a there's a certain amount of rebelness you may want, but yeah, I want the guy who can follow orders. And if the guy who's giving him the orders isn't giving him the right orders, we need to get rid of the guy who's giving him those bad orders. And hopefully at the end of this year, uh, changes can be made there. But I'm afraid that they may feel like, well, let's just throw out everything. And that's going to set us back on a rebuild, which would be bad business because you got Sweat, who you just signed. So now you're trying to rebuild, and you got these guys on these big contracts. What are you going to try to do? Get rid of them now in order to try to match them up with the rookie contract for the quarterback that you're going to be drafting? to me, the best course of action, stick with Fields because you're right there. You just got to get a better play caller, some more defensive weapons, and some more offensive weapons, and we're there.
Mm-hmm.
Bleeding obvious, but you're dead on, PJ. You're dead on. I mean, we've got a ton of talent. You saw it today, man. You saw it.
Oh man, I was impressed with that line, except for 2 plays.
They did their job.
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
That
And you can
line did their
see.
job.
I mean, Fields had some time passing the ball, and he did a good job of
Absolutely.
stepping up in the pocket for the most part, except for that last play of the game. For the most part, he did a good job of stepping up in the pocket and throwing the ball. Only 2 bad plays I've seen was the 1 sack at the end of the game, which was desperation time anyway. But also Nate Davis, number 54, I think, for the Lions, blew past Nate Davis like he was standing still. He reminded me of what was that guy back in the day? Uh, begins with a Webb. He reminded me of Webb. The guy he was like a turnstile. I'm like, goodness gracious. He went right past him, and that's when Fields got sacked.
All right. So quickly, I do want to get to the video that BearsCountry's talking about here. Just a quick play of the play we're just talking about with Tyler Scott. So
the incompletion to Tyler over.
Yes, let me put that
in there. Fields launches deep.
So he's highlighting DJ Moore here around the 30-yard line.
Yeah, because he's open.
Got Scott out there.
See, you know what? This you really don't know anything until they reveal what the play was, because we don't know if that was who he was supposed to be going to. I'm going to assume that he should have been going to DJ. He's your man.
But
He's
was
your
he open,
money man. You got to get it first. He's your money man.
Was he open though?
Yes, he had an open spot. If you go back and show it again, man, when he's crossing over, there's 2 defenders, but they're hanging off him 8-10 yards, man.
Yeah,
just flip the ball, and then he's got to fight 3 yards, and if he don't, it's 3rd down. That was second and 15 or second and 13 or something like that.
Oh, it was a second down play. Okay, all right, I got you.
Okay. Yeah, I'll pull it up for you again, PJ.
I just wish they would have done that like 2 or 3 series earlier on 2nd and 3.
Yeah.
Right there. Now,
if he throws
behind him, there's 2 defenders.
Yeah, 2 defenders right there. Yeah.
There was a window there. He had a window there to get
agree.
the DJ and let him create.
I agree.
Because he wasn't going to get the first down, but we needed to get 6, 7, 8 yards there. Touchdown would have been great. I see what he was trying to do, and I don't even blame him for that, man. You know, if McMahon didn't change the play at the line of scrimmage, you know how many plays would have been fucked up back in 1985? Seriously.
No, but really, there were 2 options there. There was DJ Moore and there was Tyler Scott. He decided to go with Tyler Scott. Yep. Now, there was separation, too, when he's out. So if you're looking at it from his perspective, Tyler Scott is there. He's open. He's got the speed to get down the field to catch the ball. And he made a mental miscalculation.
Now, one of the things
James Ford said, he said that because I clicked on the ball was already gone by the time he broke open. But James, if you go back and look at it before he threw the ball, because they were crossing, he could have thrown him out of that. DJ was crossing, and there was a window there. He could have thrown him coming out of that cross. And I'm not saying he was going to get the first down, but that would have been that's probably the play they were trying to do. I don't know for sure, man. The coaches know, and like you said too, Walt, he might have had 1 or 2 options on that. He looked at that first read and went past it too quick because we bitch about him being so slow. You got to find that. You got to find that fine line. Like sometimes I think even Bagent reads shit too fast. If he waits another split second, it could be a sack, but then the guy might be open. I recorded every offensive play last week. I wish I would have done it this week. And I was going through them, and there was times I was like, man, if you would have waited a tick, you had this guy. If you would have waited a tick, you would have had this guy. I think like 4 times I said that.
But if
it's hard when you're standing back there and guys are coming at you.
If I'm not mistaken, I remember hearing some type of criticism of Fields for throwing the DJ too much. And they say one of the things they liked about Bagent is he passes the ball around or spreads the ball around. So I'm wondering if that's playing in his psyche about, okay, I'm not going to always look to DJ. I want to look to these other guys. And here I got Tyler streaking down. Maybe I can throw it to him. Because there was a time there, when Bajan first came on the scene that, they was just thinking he was the greatest gift since Joe Montana. So everything he was doing was right. And then he was criticizing Fields for, oh, well, he stares down DJ Moore all the time. He doesn't spread the ball around. Bajan does this and Bajan doing that. And so I'm wondering if those are the things he's hearing. So
Can
now
I ask you a question, Peach?
Go ahead.
I'll ask everybody this, and I think I asked you this, Walt. So if I got a guy like DJ Moore and he's open on every freaking pass play, I'm throwing it to him every fucking pass play. Would you?
To an extent.
Except for when he's on the sideline getting there.
To an extent, yeah. But in this case, you have two options. And, Fields trusts his own arm. He knows what he can do. He knows he can throw the ball. He knows he can put it onto a dime down the field if he has to. And that's what he did right here. The ball was good. It was a good throw.
Yeah.
It's just, the wide receiver, unfortunately, made some mistakes and didn't get there. Like, even if you watch the, I think it was what Tony Romo was calling the Jets game today, right, with the Bills.
Yeah.
He was going on and on and on about how, he threw the ball away. Josh Allen, that's the greatest thing in the world. I mean, I'm sorry to bring this up because I don't like to talk about this stuff, but let's check your internal racism at the door. If Josh Allen's in that same position, he makes the same throw, Tyler Scott misses it, we'd be like, oh man, that was a great throw by Josh Allen. Fucking, come on.
I get what you're saying, but not everybody's like that, dude. That's the minority at this point in time, I believe.
It's more than you think, man.
I get what you're saying. I'll be just as hard on anybody who doesn't play the game decent. They got to go, man. You know who I like today? That if anybody were to ask me, oh man, who would you have Fields look at as a what's going on at the way they're playing right now? I would have him. I would say Dobbs out of Minnesota. I think they're pretty. They have a lot of similarities, and I think Fields can be even better. But Dobbs is winning, Fields ain't, and that's because
of a better team.
That's because of the team and the coaching staff.
Yeah, Dobbs on a better team. Did you see what he did in Arizona?
Yeah, I did. I did because I've had him on and off for fantasy because I know what's there. I'd always look at the matches and take one or two receivers that he had because nobody would take those guys because I was at the bottom of the barrel, man. I know. I checked his whole career out, dude.
I mean, here's the thing, Bearsky. It's not just a racist thing. People don't even know they're doing it half the time. It's just ingrained into their brain. They're going to physically do this without knowing they're doing it, if that makes sense. And that's what I'm talking about. They're not going out of their way to trash Fields because of his skin color. It's just how they are. Everybody does it.
I just don't think everybody does it, man.
Everybody does it, man. It'd be naive to think that most people don't. You may not even think
I don't feel that I do, man. I had a thing a few months ago on this show with somebody and they said, come on, man, you're white. And I'm like, I don't give a fuck if I'm white or you're pink, dude. It has no bearing on the fact with this shit. And anybody that's doing it, intentionally or not, they really need to look at themselves, maybe get some help. Because in this day and age, that kind of shit, I'm just so fucking sick of this racist shit. I'm totally sick of it.
I mean, it's across the board, Foster. I'm not gonna get on this because it's a silly subject, and I only wanted to briefly bring it up, and I don't want to devote a whole show to it because feelings get hurt when that stuff happens. So I'm not gonna go down that route. I'm not gonna go down that road.
I have a hard time with that too because I just don't understand people, man.
That's fine. It's there, man. It's there. It's all you
got. I know it's there, dude. I see it fucking every day. All I gotta do is walk down a fucking block.
Unfortunately, it is there. Now, Cliff, it is kind of funny that you're talking about Dobbs being a rocket scientist. Technically, yes, he does have an undergrad degree in aerospace engineering. I mean, I think they shoved it down our throats a little bit tonight.
Yep.
But if you dig deeper, he's not technically certified as a rocket scientist. So that is
well. The guy seems to be in a very good position at this time. In all his affairs, man. Did you see the couple in the stands with their NASA outfit on and stuff with the Dobbs thing on it? They literally had everything like NASA with their Minnesota scarves and it said Dobbs on it. They were drinking. I don't know what they were drinking, man, but it was funny.
Yeah. I just did what, Mo Bear?
Just
Mm.
did
Anyways, let's move on.
that.
Where were we? Okay. We're talking about Tyler Scott. I think that's it. You just made a mistake. It happens.
Yeah.
He's a
I
rookie.
mean, bottom line is he just got to make, he has to make that catch. I mean, the pass was right there. I mean, we can debate about whether or not he could have thrown it to DJ, but he threw it to Scott, who was open. Scott missed it. I mean, he got stumbled up on his steps. He missed it.
Yeah.
I get it.
And that's the end of it all.
Yeah.
There's more to it than just that caused the downfall of the game. It's just one talking point to think over.
Correct.
Let's go over to the defensive side of the ball real quick. I know we touched on Jalen Johnson earlier in the game, but let's see here. Do you think he's still worth top cornerback money like he wants?
Top being what, 20 something million?
Yeah, let's go the range between 20 million to 15. 5 in either direction.
I could see paying him 15, 16. I don't see paying him 20. I think if I remember correctly, that the 10th or 9th or 10th highest paid cornerback is getting about 15, and that's where I see him at, around that range. So I don't see him at the higher tier.
Okay. What do you think, Foster?
If he hit a pick or two today, like the ones that were in his hands, maybe you look at. I said it earlier. I don't know if you were here, Peach. What I said was, JJ's a very good cornerback, and he makes very good plays.
Yeah.
To get that 18, 20 million that the top guys are getting, those are great cornerbacks. They make great plays. Who's the dude who's got 4 pick sixes? He just got his 4th tonight. I was watching the game. I just can't remember what game it was on. So I'll answer it quickly.
The guy for the Dallas Cowboys, right?
Yep. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I saw
that game was real. That game was real boring. I wish they would have turned that one off too. But when it's the Cowboys, whether it's against the Giants and it's boring, or Panthers and it's boring, you got to watch that. But almost everybody else, they switch it. Seriously.
Well, we needed that win. So anyway, the Cowboys scored points today. I don't care.
But I say this with Jalen, man. He's in the $12 to $14 million range. Just compare him with all the other cornerbacks.
Yeah.
We do not need to pay this guy 16, 18, 20 million dollars. That's, I know it was short when he went out there looking for a trade, because he was looking for a trade to get traded and then to get this money.
Yeah.
And that's why he didn't get the trade, because he's not worth the money. At least he hasn't shown it. Today kind of showed it. Like I said, he made some good plays. He didn't make any great plays.
Now, do not fault him.
He also missed some tackles too. Him and Edmonds, same play. They missed the guy. Let him get out of bounds instead of stopping the clock.
Yeah, I do not fault him for the touchdown though.
No.
That touchdown either, man. Where was it Williamson? Is that his name? Williamson?
Yeah.
That was on Eddie Jackson. You in cover 2. You're supposed to have that. I mean, Lance Briggs did a great job of explaining it. He was like, on that coverage, when it's stacked like that, you got the field divided between one safety half, the other half. Eddie has this half. So the guy been stacked. The cornerback takes the underneath guy, being Jalen Johnson, takes the underneath guy. The over the top guy, the safety is supposed to get, and Eddie Jackson was caught looking in the backfield.
Yep. And that was a great play on both ends by Goff and Williamson. You got to throw it all into context. I mean,
but I mean,
in that predicament, man.
Yeah, if you saw,
but if, be able to recover
in cover 2 like that, that's what I'm saying. You're supposed to have that top guy being the safety.
Right.
You got to have that top guy, so you can't be looking in the backfield. You got to stick with your guy and not let the guy get behind you.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I would look at it a little differently. I think it's on both men, both Eddie Jackson and Jalen Johnson. To what you said, PJ, the first job was Eddie Jackson. He failed to do his. The second, though, like I said, what you brought up earlier, if you want top cornerback money, you got to start making top plays, and awareness is a big thing. you got to be able to anticipate that where I'm going to make this move and how. So both guys, I'm faulting both guys on that touchdown, not just Eddie Jackson. Eddie Jackson was pretty bad across the board. He had 4 tackles, but there was plenty of times where he'd grab a guy, the guy would just run away, and he's just like, whatever,
Yeah.
you know.
But on that play though, for Walt,
Wait,
uh,
hold on a second,
Good night,
PJ. I'm
Bearsky.
not play, but good night, Bearski. Paul. Paulie, thanks for sending this clip and hanging out, dude. Sorry, Peach.
no problem.
He's got a crash, dude.
Good night there, Bresky. On that play
Kids.
we're talking about, the touchdown though, there was a guy underneath. So Jalen's first priority was him. So once he saw that the ball wasn't going to him, he tried to react to get back to Williamson, but he was responsible for, I don't know if it was Amon St. Brown or whoever it was. That's who he was responsible for first. And by the time, the ball is now thrown, now he's trying to get back there to where the ball is, but that's not his responsibility. And he wasn't fast enough to get there.
That's the thing. He's not fast enough.
Yeah.
The process wasn't there. You got to kind of slightly anticipate that, this is my guy, and this is who I'm supposed to stay with. Yes, you are correct there. But at the same time, you have to be thinking 10 steps ahead. We're playing chess here. We're not playing checkers. So
Right.
if I'm the cornerback, that's my way of thinking. That's how I'm going to look at it.
Well, how many guys got sucked to Amon Ra on that play? 3. 3 were going to him, man. That helped William. That helped the whole play. And you said Eddie's looking in the backfield. He might be looking at him too out of the corner of his eye. Where's he going? Where's he going?
And that part on Amon-Ra isn't solely on Jalen Johnson too. Like you said, if there's multiple guys on him, those other 2 also have to pick up the slack. It's all about layered defenses. So you have your defensive line, your linebackers, and then your cornerbacks and your safeties, and they all kind of fall back into each other. So if something goes wrong, it goes back to back to back to back.
And how do you get better at that? You got to play together and witness the plays and make the adjustments as time goes on. You'll get smarter as time goes on, man.
Partially, it is continuity. Yes, you can't take that away. But it's also how you're trained and how you're led to do certain things. So it starts at the top and just trickles down.
Yeah. I wanted to bring this for a split second because I was looking at this guy yesterday Friday going, what the fuck? Anybody seen what DeAndre Houston Carson's been doing in Texas? Go
He's been doing well.
I looked at his numbers and I went, wow. I don't know how many interceptions he's got. He's got a few. But he's playing every down there for them, man.
1.
Okay, I thought he had 2 or 3. I must have looked at it wrong.
Doesn't it
have any of his other stats, pass breakups?
Let's have a look here. He's got 16 tackles combined. That's not bad. 1 interception. That's about it.
Yeah.
All right.
I mean, Carson was expendable. Let's put it that way.
He was, but he's having a hell of a season. He is, man.
He's got one pass deflection so far in the last couple of games. Let's see what he's got total. 2.
I know what it was. I know what I'm thinking.
No, 1. Just he didn't get any with Baltimore.
They showed 4 or 5 plays of his. Never mind. But he is. He's having a. You go back and pull up some of his film. He's having a great season with them, man.
Yeah, he had the one good game. Like you're saying, he got the 7 tackles there, and even the Cardinals wasn't too bad with 5. But
I would mind having him as our what is it? Our 4th or 5th safety. Absolutely, I wouldn't mind.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
We needed him earlier in the year, is what I meant, when we had all these other problems. When we could have brought him back, and we didn't.
Yeah, he could have been useful there. I mean, in the grand scheme of things, he's what, 4 or 5 on the depth chart, like you said, PJ.
Yeah,
not worth keeping around. I can find somebody else to fill
leadership. He knows the team. He's been around.
Well,
I just wanted to throw it out there, man. We don't even have to get into it. But he's having.
I'm partial to our drafted players, so I would gladly take him over that number 30. I forgot his name. I think it was like number 39.
Which one? Harmon Johnson, the guy they got.
Harmon. That's what I was thinking about. Harmon. I don't know what number.
37? Is he 37 or 39?
Hicks is 37.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
So-
Harmon's not even on the team anymore. So
Yeah, he's gone, Teach. He's gone.
Yeah, I mean, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, when I seen that guy playing, I was like, man, we could have had DHC. So
Yeah, well, we were talking about it early in the season, man. When people were hurt and we were having problems, man. Why not bring the DHC back?
yeah,
And then I think somebody even said it. Well, he just signed with Houston, so we missed that one. But
yeah, I like him. I do. I like
I do
DHC.
too. I do too.
I mean, I know he's no world beater, but you can get him on a minimum contract. That's what all he ever signs anyway. So, but
Mhm.
yeah, and plus he's a drafted player by us. By all
You
means,
see who else is having a darn good season? He plays on the 49ers. Gibson.
oh yeah. But see,
We had him for
San
2
Francisco
seasons.
also has that safety I wanted us to draft. Jair Brown, he got
Yeah.
an interception today.
Did he?
Yeah.
I didn't even catch that because I just kept looking at the score, going, "Okay, that Frisco's got that game. That's done."
Yeah, he played with
I
played
didn't
at
look
Penn
at it too
State with
much, man.
Brisker. So that's why we wanted us to draft him last year.
I was keeping tabs on Green Bay. Hold on, I got to run for a second, guys. Give me a minute here.
All right, folks, we'll be here.
What the hell was that?
Oh, you mean Hicks as in Akeem Hicks? Cliff Victoria?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Yeah, I think
guy-
he'll probably last maybe a quarter and a half, and then he get injured.
I don't even know if he has the wind to do it anymore.
Especially on our defense.
Yeah.
Our defense is those guys be having to run. So I don't know if he could handle it. He was good while he was here, but injuries took his toll, and I don't see it.
Yeah. All right, Cornelius, you take it easy, man. Oh, damn. I don't know. It was just a tough game. Like,
Yeah.
it was really exciting to start, and we were going really good, and then it just
It reminded me of the Denver game.
a bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't win games. I mean, with defense giving up 29 points, 28 points, whatever you want to call it. Take the safety away. That doesn't even matter.
Right.
You know,
Nope.
I got to jump on Darnold right here for this one, man. Fall on the goddamn ball. I mean, your big ass isn't going to bend down and catch it. Just fall on the goddamn thing. Let's be real. Don't kick it into the end zone like a moron.
I don't think he purposely kicked it. I think it was an accident.
Yeah, I'm not saying he didn't purposely kick it. You know, he made
Are
a
you
mistake,
sure?
and it just happened to go, you know, where it did. But your first instinct is, man, if you bend down and can't get it, just keep going forward.
Well, he didn't want to give up the touchdown.
Yeah, but you're still around the 5-yard line. You could make something happen there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you got to at least give it a shot. It
I
doesn't
agree.
matter now, but
That is a question. Good question that Sports Chicago style asked.
that's triple R, dude.
Yeah, no, I was actually
It's
just about
trips.
to bring that up.
Me too.
Is it
Because
triple R?
I literally, that's triple R, dude.
What's up, Triple R?
So when I saw it, and we talked about this on the phone, Walt, because
Mhm.
I think you even asked me what it was so I'm watching it, and I'm standing like 3 feet from, I got the 55-inch, and I'm standing there looking at this going, and Braxton's running up the field, and he turns around, he goes, I can't fucking see. I heard
him
it.
say that.
Everybody in the country heard it. That's what he
Yeah.
said.
Was it because
and-
did he have
No, well, this was another penalty they didn't call. Hands to the face. He got stuck in the eye. Another penalty they didn't call.
Okay.
That happened like 2 or 3 times to Tevin and him. Between him, it was 3 times on that side of the line that I saw hands to the face. Now, we did it once. I think Sweat got away with it once too. That should have been a penalty, but I'm just saying. You got to call them all and be fair.
I know in the play before that, when Fields ran out of bounds or something and got hit by I don't know the guy's name, linebacker, I think number 34 with the long blonde hair.
I don't remember what his name is.
him and Braxton Jones had words then. And then that next play, I don't know what happened, but that's when I heard, that's when he said, I can't see. So I don't know if it was something going on with those two again or not.
It was just a really weird exchange.
Yeah.
Hands to the face, man, because he
And
could
so,
not. He
and
got stuck in the eye. Maybe he's got to wear a shield, dude.
And
Or was
even
he wearing
still,
a shield?
it was interesting that I don't know. I wasn't really listening to the Flus press conference when it got played the first time. Did anyone address that at all, or did they just kind of gloss over it?
I didn't hear it.
Nothing.
I didn't hear it.
No. Okay. Yeah, I mean, Mo Beerman's got it right. Linemen should wear shields. I think that's not a bad idea at all. You know,
They should.
Even in college, they're having to wear knee braces now if they want to, just to save wear and tear. Why not a visor?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Then you don't have that whole scenario that was going on there with that. That was a distraction. I believe Borum came in for a play or two, and there was no issues. But
At least
True.
there's that, right?
Now there was an issue with Feeney snapping the ball when he first came in.
Yep.
Them getting not his snaps, but snapping it on time.
Yeah, the count that Fields wanted the ball on.
Yeah. It seemed like after they went to the sideline, they must have got it worked out somehow because didn't see no more issue with it.
Yeah, because it was interesting to watch. He's sitting there clapping his hands, telling him to hurry the fuck up, let's go.
Yeah.
And I think he gave him the benefit of the doubt the first time, and then the same thing happened last time because he did it twice. The next play, he's sitting there like, "Hey, let's go," and
I think that threw off because we ended up punting on that series, I believe. Seemed like that threw us off to where we got out of rhythm, and that brought about some hiccups for us.
Yep. We didn't. Before we turn to this, I wanted to bring up because you were talking about the play with Fields going to the sideline and he can't get a penalty for shit because there was two plays where he slid, and on the first one, two guys hit him when he was already sliding on the ground. They just rolled over him like it was nothing. And he looks at the umpire, and the umpire does nothing. But that happened twice today. So that's that one's really pissing me off. The guy, everybody else gets these fucking roughing the quarterback penalties, but not Fields, man. He gets screwed left and right on those.
I'm sorry, go ahead, Walt.
I just wanted clarification. You're talking about the one where he slid it right near the end zone, and then the guy rolled on top of him afterwards?
Two guys. He got hit, and then the other guy rolled on him.
But that's the play, right? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, to an extent, those guys were kind of already in the middle of their maneuver,
so
to speak. So I can't really I'll give him a pass on that one. There really isn't anything you can do. Gravity's just going to take over at that point.
I normally would too, but I'm just so sick of him never getting it. How many times have you seen him get helmet to helmet? I've seen him at least 2 or 3 times, at least twice this year, helmet to helmet, when he's sliding and no fucking penalty.
I would disagree though. I think on that one where he was sliding going to the end zone, the guy who I got the ones in front of him, I don't have a problem with. It's the guy that's behind him who hits him.
Came in at an angle.
Yeah,
from behind. That's the guy I'm talking about because he's the one who rolled over him. There was no need to hit for him to even touch him.
And he led with his forearm when he came in.
There was just no need for him to even touch him. He should have never touched Fields at all.
I'm like, you coming from behind, you see him going down. You have no reason. You could have just ran to the side. But he led with his forearm too. If you guys ever get a chance to look at that play again.
I will be. I'll be looking at it all Tuesday. I'll be looking at every fucking thing Tuesday night, dude. Guarantee it. They do it every Tuesday.
Yeah. No, to your guys' point, yes, there are a lot of uncalled hits, and the problem with a lot of the rules in the NFL is they're subjective, and we don't have full-time referees, which I think is a disservice to every player on that field.
Absolutely. Every player and every fan, Walt.
Yeah.
Anybody that gambles, especially. Sorry, but I had to say that.
We can do a whole show on that. That's a whole other topic in and of itself. But one thing they need to do is they have to bring in referees. And I know one time I think I was watching the Barroom Network. I forget what show it was. Maybe it was a Greg Gabriel one. But Aldo made a comment saying that, these guys, each referee team has their own personality. And that kind of, I was like, that shouldn't be the case. True. Every referee team should be exactly the same. So you have no impartial judgments, so to speak.
Yeah.
That's why we need to we need to have 100% transparency on these rules. None of this like, well, it might be this way, but he sees this a little different. Like these are rules. They're not, I'm just going to be like, well, I feel like doing this today.
Yep.
You know?
Consistency. That's all I've ever asked for. Even if it's
Yeah.
bad consistency, give me fucking consistency.
Yeah. And I
I
think
just
one
don't
thing
get
that'll
it.
one thing that definitely help is these guys are going to be there permanently. Even during the week, you can justify a referee salary by having trainings.
Yep.
I don't know, a whole bunch of things.
Going over game film, showing them, okay, you see this call? We made a mistake here, guy. We don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
Stuff
And
like that. There's plenty of things you could get them to do to get their 40 hours a week.
exactly.
But
And
it's the NFL. They got to have these certain people because these rich people or whatever they are. I'm going off in the wrong way here, but we got to have these people for whatever fucking reason. Maybe it's to fix fucking games and not call plays. I'm sorry, I got to say it, dude. Just so fed up with this shit. That shit.
listen, there's nothing wrong with saying that at all. I mean, there's definitely, people that think like, are you really playing this bad, or is somebody paying you to play this bad? Because this story doesn't make sense. But I mean, even something that you need to give coaches recourse to defend themselves against these referees if you're not gonna train them properly. Even if it's just something simple as you now have a one purple flag. You can use it once per quarter, so you get two a game, and you could challenge the ruling of the referee on a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think they want to open that can of worms up.
They don't,
You know?
but they should have somebody looking at every damn play of every game.
Yeah, and let's say it goes to an impartial judge,
We
like
pay
a third
enough.
party. That's
Well,
there at the game, not like in a fucking booth 100 miles away.
It don't even matter where they are as long as the second that play's over. They've got 10, 15 seconds to look at that play, and they ought to be able to do it with the technology we got today.
You would think we could
I would think.
predict the percentage of what plays are going to be good, bad, touchdown percentage, but we can't figure out where the ball is in a pileup.
Maybe take the overhead cam. I don't know. It just fuck. I gotta
Well, no,
stop. I gotta get off the refs because I get pissed about them.
Amazon has even said that we have sensors in their helmets and their shoulder pads that tell us all this information about how to predict injuries better and all this thing and the next thing. You couldn't put something in the ball, or even something as simple as a chip they use for like the road races. It's just a flat piece that goes on the back of the bib, and it tells you a whole lot of shit.
Well, Amazon will be running the league in 10 years because they're going to have every game and you're going to have to pay for it and they're going to do all their own shit. Watch.
you're just in a good mood tonight, there, aren't you, Foster?
I'm not. And it's not just the Bears game, man. Everything's breaking again today. Fucking dryer, the car. I won't even on.
You sounded like I was. What was that? That Thursday night game?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right here, but they need to be held accountable, and right now they're not.
But we won that piece of shit game. We should have won this game.
Yeah.
It's just. I'm going to go back. I'm going to throw everything back in the garbage, and I want to go back to that 3rd and 5 before we kick the field goal. If you look at that play, they come up to the line. There's at least 7 guys in the box, and I believe the safety's cheating in on one side. So there's 8 guys in the box. And he basically told me when they ran that play, and it was to Herbert right up the middle between the guard and the center to where everybody's at, that we're just going to settle for a field goal. That pissed me. That's when I texted you guys, we just lost this game. That's when I sent the text right after that play, as the field goal unit was coming out to attempt the kick. Because I said, man, you're playing not to lose. You're scared to even try a slant or a bubble screen to DJ to get 5 fucking yards. You're willing to just take this field goal. You're going to lose the game for us with that play. And it happened.
Mm-hmm.
It happened.
Yeah, and
here very quickly. People said that we're going to lose.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't say we're going to lose to the bitter end.
I know I'm not alone thinking that.
No, you're definitely.
But I know I'm not alone thinking it.
You're definitely not. You're definitely not. But, here, Bear, I think you're right on the money there. Hit them in their pockets. It more
We
hurts.
got food preparation and shit for Thanksgiving going on in the chat. Trips is just talking all about food the whole fucking time now. Well, to preserve your food better, make it store it for longer. Use this.
So my question is, with the Hair Bear suggestion, do you make it public?
Yes.
You make it public, the fines that
Yes.
the refs get. Okay.
You're public with the most of the fines that the NFL players get. Why not the referees?
Absolutely. The dude on Denver is going to get a big fine, man. I don't know how they let that go when he forced a fumble on Dobbs. Because
I
he
didn't
put
see
his head down. He put his head down and ran right into Dobbs' chest.
Oh,
They showed the replay 3 times, man.
crown on the
Literally,
helmet.
like that should have been a penalty on him, and Minnesota should have had a first down or a 15-yard penalty. That's what should have been called on that. Instead, Denver got to keep the ball. I hope they do something about that because it was blatantly obvious. You saw him in slow-mo put his head down and drive right into his chest. That is totally illegal. But nothing was called again. I keep going back to the refs. I got to stay away from them, man. Walt, you got any more bullet points before I lose my fucking mind?
Well, I didn't make a banner for this one, but the whole subject of the video is the black cloud known as Luke Getsy that's just hovering over this team right now. What do you think? And I'm asking the chat too. I want to hear what they have to say. What do you think the Bears organization, and that's top to bottom, McCaskey's, Poles, Warren, need to see to remove this man? Let's forget Matt Eberflus for the moment.
I don't
Because
think they will remove him in the season.
why
I
not?
think because they don't. For one, they don't have nobody readily available to take over. For two, I don't remember them ever firing a coordinator in the middle of the season.
Okay.
I mean,
Hold on, PJ. Before I don't interrupt you, but just for Cliff here, it's more so what do they need to the organization itself needs to see from its coaches to make that move. That's what I'm asking there. Sorry, PJ. Go ahead.
because I mean, uh, if you fire Getsy, you don't have nobody. The I'm trying to think of the name of the quarterback coach, Jack
Janoko.
Janoko. I don't think he has ever called plays, so you don't have anyone in the building to take that over. And to my knowledge, I don't remember ever re- firing a coach in the middle of a season.
No, that's the one thing they pride themselves on that they don't fire mid-season. And it's to the point where, like, yes, he's never done this before. First time for everything, though, on both
Agree.
firing midseason and calling the plays. You can't get any worse right now. You know, we had a 12-point lead with 4 minutes left. You know, we should have been fine. But
Right.
I mean, this wasn't totally on the offense that lost there. You
He
know,
played not to
when
lose.
he played not to lose. He's
When
too
you play not to
predictable.
lose, you lose.
And
Well,
this pattern here has been repeated over and over and over and over and over again. You don't need to see any more at this point. Fuck the rebuild. I don't give a shit if it's a rebuild or if it's anything else. If it's a Super Bowl caliber team. If the Chiefs are on, this is the same thing. If this was the Chiefs and this offensive coordinator was doing that shit, I'd throw his ass out too. It's done.
They don't have to worry about
I've
that.
seen all I need to see. No, I'm just throwing it out there. It doesn't matter if it's a rebuild or a Super Bowl team. If this man is doing this, he needs to leave. Go.
I mean, I think if it was a different organization, yeah, he would have gotten replaced. But
Look at the Raiders. Look at the Bills.
the Raiders are known for that. I mean,
Yeah.
Raiders just did it. I mean, Raiders seem like they do it every so often. Just being
Yeah,
honest.
but still,
Because it
they're
needs to
making
be
the
done. They take
and
action.
it has to be done at this point. You need to make a change. Otherwise, you're smacking the players in the face. You're smacking the fans in the face that spend hundreds of dollars in tickets to come see you put on that piece of shit on the field.
And Triple
Well,
R's answer is buttermilk pancakes, French toast, or waffles.
Well, I mean, I guess that works.
I I think I think what they will fall back on is, well, look at it. He was calling a good game plan in the first half. Is that what they would say before them making this drastic change for them? Because again, never done it before. So to be a drastic change for them, they can't then justify it because he called a good game plan in the first half. Same way in the Denver game. It's like he has, I agree with you. He has dropped the ball come the second half. He got too conservative and didn't make the right play calls come the second half, fourth quarter. But the overall thing is, well, he was calling a good play. We just need to fix this part. I'm thinking from their point of view. I'm not saying I'm agreeing with it, but that's why I don't think they will fire him.
I'm afraid that what they're going to do is state this. This is a young team. They're going to state this. This is what they're going to come out with as an organization. This is a young team. Everybody's pretty much relatively new in the last 2 years, 2 seasons, because that's fact. There's 10 guys left from the prior year before they Poles and Flus got in here. So these guys, this is a young team. This is a young coaching staff outside of our head coach. So we're going to keep them all together so they can learn together how to win games. That's what
learn what be bad.
I'm afraid that everybody's going to be back next year on the coaching staff. That they're not going to get rid of anybody.
I mean,
this is a rebuild, guys.
Let's put football aside at this point.
We want these guys all to grow together. This is for long-term development. They're going to make a lot of mistakes, but we're going to let them make the mistakes, and you, the fans, got to pay for it.
Let's look at it from an outsider perspective.
We've done this how many times in the 70s? We sucked last year. Yeah, I know, but we're going to keep this guy 2 more fucking years. We've done it.
Let's go outside of football for a minute, and let's just say John Q. Taxpayer at his job. If you're this bad at your job, you don't have a job anymore.
Not if you work for Chicago, the city of Chicago.
Because
every motherfucker that I know there, okay.
My wife made a great comment to me. She goes, if I was this bad at my job to this point, I'd be fired. I'd be blacklisted, so I couldn't get a job anywhere else. And they wouldn't give a shit. There'd be no hand-holding along the way. You've given this guy 6 miles of rope at this point. You need to rein it in. And I know Cliff Victoria said the Bears players haven't get up. That's true. They're playing, they're playing for themselves at this point. And do you want them to be like, well, guys, you're playing hard here, but we're going to keep saddling with this. If anything, Poles, you come in on Monday morning and be like, guys, I have so much respect for you. I'm not going to put you through this shit anymore. You have to trust me, though, as general manager. Like, I'm going to put you with the best coaches available to win games. Right now, this guy isn't it. So instead of subjecting you to this crap any longer, we're going to move on. Sorry, not sorry. Thank you for your service, Luke Getsy. Get the fuck out. And you know what? Who cares who's calling the plays at this point if they've never done it before? Does that mean they can't do that? It's not mutually exclusive. No.
I just see. I just don't see it happening. I mean, you make valid points. I mean, you really do, but I just don't see it happening.
Then PJ, we deserve to be the joke of the NFL, then.
Because we are.
Yeah.
We
deserve that title. Everyone's sitting there crapping on the Bears, being like, well, they suck. And, I defend them every day to people. Every fucking day.
You know who called me tonight, guy? Sorry, Walt, go ahead.
Flus included. And it's a whole nother ball wax to talk about Flus. Maybe we'll do a whole thing about this. And yes, sports Chicago style. He's not ready. He's over his head, and he's sinking at this point. He's sinking further into perdition. And why are we going to put our fans and our team through all this? What do you have to gain from doing that? Oh, they're going to play longer together, so eventually they'll be better. No, they're just going to be bad. You are instilling bad habits in your young players. Fields included. He's gaining bad habits from this too. Everyone is. You want to win Super Bowls, right? You want to win championships. You want to bring money into the city. You want to bring players to your team when free agency comes up. They're going to look at you and be like, I don't want to play for this idiot. He's going to fucking sink me too. Why am I going to put myself through that? I mean, any way you twist this, you can't sell me on Getsy at all. I don't care what mental gymnastics you have to do. No.
Do you think they're worried about Justin having to be exposed to what would be his third offense in 4 years?
I do.
Personally, I
That's
feel
why
it's a crock.
I feel they do. That's why they'll let this ride another year. They got tons of options with these picks here. And my other thought was, wow, so I guess we really do want the first 2 picks in the draft. But that's just insanity talking at the time, because that's where they're headed. But my question, my whole thing when I thought about this show early today, I kept just asking myself, because Walt's like, what should we call the show? And I'm like, finally, because I'm asking myself all these questions. Okay, what's a good name? But then I keep going, well, what's it going to take? I kept asking myself, what's it going to take to write this ship? What's it going to take to correct these errors? What is it going to take to get a few more guys in here that are going to be able to help this team? And not like in 2 years from now, like now, next season.
Spending in
I
free
wanted
agency.
to give all these comments. I had a bunch of stuff written down, and I'm so mad at myself because I left it, because I wanted to address. I had like 5 questions that I wanted to ask Poles and Mr. McCaskey. And I'm going to bring those for Thursday, man, because I want to ask those questions.
Thursday
I
next
wish
week.
I could remember the damn things. Yeah, I know. Whatever. I'll forget. Nah.
Oh, quickly, we do want to let you all know, since you're here, the regulars, there is no show this Thursday for Thanksgiving. We failed to do that last night. That's our fault. So, sorry. You'll have to view it out as one Thursday this month. Now, we are discussing possibly doing something Wednesday night, just as a nice, gesture to you guys, and happy Thanksgiving and all that fun shit. So, but we'll let you know.
And that's when we can talk about your food there, Triple R and Cliff. You can talk about your food then there, guys. No, just play it.
No, we'll have a whole food segment, maybe some menu ideas or something. We'll make a good fun, day out. But
Sounds like a
really,
good idea, actually.
We're going to have Eric Kramer on.
Yeah, Eric Kramer is coming the next
Eric
show.
Kramer's going to join us Thursday, a week from Thursday, guys. So that ought to be a good show.
Yeah, go out and buy his book.
Now, Hair Bear says now his Thursday is blown. I don't remember seeing you in the chat last Thursday there, Hair Bear. Where were you? I'll be looking for you. You're my guy, man.
So, but to go back to your proposition there, Foster, do I think it's going to be a big deal if he's in another offense? Not really. Maybe we can actually build this around Justin Fields instead of trying to shove Justin Fields into this image of what we want him to be, than more than what he is. Because that's the hallmark of a good coach. The hallmark of a good coach is he can take a player and exemplify his strengths. It's a bad coach or a bad leader that's going to be like, you need to follow my way no matter what.
We already had one of those.
Yeah, we don't need that again. I mean, to this point, like I said, it's all about patterns. It's how I make all my decisions. Everything's based on patterns. And in every game, we're in it, we're winning, and then we go into a turtle shell and we call 12 run plays in a row. Like, yeah, that's working, guys. But you're not scoring any points. You're taking time off the clock, which is okay, I guess. The other team doesn't get that, but you're not getting anywhere in terms of the overall score of the game. You get one more touchdown there in the end of the game, that game's over with. Put it to bed. We're going home victors. But you're like, nope, I'm going to go run the ball. First down. Okay, fine. I can get behind that. I'm going to run the ball again. Second down. Why'd you do that? Now you're on third down. You're 3rd and 5, and you have to throw because you're not going to get 5 yards. And you missed the ball. Tyler Scott misses his play. If that happens somewhere else, or DJ Moore, whomever, Mooney, whatever the receiver is, misses the play. What do you do now? You got to punt the ball away. So you took 5 minutes off the clock. Big fucking deal. But now the other team all come down and score once, and the game's over.
They took like 7.5 minutes on 9 running plays off the clock. And when it counted, that 3rd and 5 I keep bitching about, they ran it again. A first down there would have taken another minute off the play clock. Even if they had to take the field goal after that, there would not have been time enough for them to get the last touchdown. I could throw all the other shit in the garbage, the referees, all the mistakes, all day, but to have no guts to just run that ball up the middle when you've got these guys done, and then let it skate by you, and then to play that crap ass fucking, let's just give them 9 yards on every pass defense. That's when
Yeah,
you
that
got to come
prevent
back at them
defense.
hard. You do that
Yeah.
prevent shit like that. It always fails. Always. 98% of the time. And I'm making that up, but it sure seems like it.
No,
Except
yeah.
for teams like you got these teams with these great defenses. Those are the teams that can get away with it. The elite defenses. We don't have one. We're not there yet. So you can't play that game because you don't have the personnel to do it.
You know, when I was watching the game, the defense part, I really became convinced that Ndakwe will not be here next year.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. I
He,
mean, I know we had to spend the money, so I get that point, but
right.
he hasn't really done anything.
He was a
Yeah.
placeholder.
He's
Just
earned
like
his
we said
paycheck.
before, earlier we asked this question when we got him. Okay, is he going to be a guy or is he going to be a placeholder? And we got our answer. He's a placeholder. That's all. I can accept
he may
that.
not
We
he
need
may
to try
not
something,
reach
man.
his normal 7 sacks or 8 sacks, whatever he normally gets. He may not even reach that this year because I'm telling you, he's not winning his one-on-ones very often.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
there was a couple plays where I was going, man, you guys got to do something because there's 2 guys on Sweat and 2 guys on Billings. You other 2 guys got to make a fucking play.
Yeah.
That happened 3 or 4 times, and they didn't make the plays. Matter of fact, Sweat broke through on one of them. 2 guys were on him. Thank God it was a tight end and the left tackle, or he might have had a problem if it was the guard and the tackle. Because he was able to kind of throw the. Go ahead.
I was going to say, there was one good play there that really summed up Yannick Ngakoue this season. He ended up, play went off, goes straight in like he normally does, decides to end up backing up and going around the 2 defenders and going through a hole there, and just whiffs on an open sack. That's just him this year. If that doesn't exemplify everything that's going on with Yannick Ngakoue in the moment, I don't know what will.
I tell you what, I may be in a minority once again, but Chase Young, I would make a priority.
He got another sack today.
Oh man.
No, Peach. Now I'm all for it. I'm all for it because he is going to be a free agent. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah.
The question is, are we going to be if we just paid Sweat 24? What do you think we're going to have to pay him?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know.
So now you're probably looking at 28, 30.
Oh,
he's not worth $30 million.
Okay, 20. He's got if Sweat's getting 24 and Chase's numbers are better at the end of the year, and they're going to be because he's on a much better team. What are you going to have to pay him a year to bring him to the Bears? Because 24 probably ain't going to cut it. Probably not going to cut it.
Well, you'll probably start somewhere around 24. Maybe
that's
a million or 2 in either direction. Now you
and then he's just going to point at Sweat and go, "My numbers are better, dude."
But then they're going to point at his injury history, though.
That too.
He'd be fine. This is my thing. You also got to take into account his friendship with Justin Fields, so that may work to our advantage in some way.
As well as,
and he is a good buddy of Sweat's. They're really tight.
Yeah. So you have those 2, things right there working for you in terms of negotiating.
Now that may actually.
That's why like Cliff even said in there. That's kind of why Washington let him go, because they see the thing there though is Cliff. They had 4 guys they're paying. Man, they already locked their defensive tackles up to big contracts. That's why they're both gone. We don't really have that problem because we got Billings and rookies. So, and some veterans under the veteran deals. So it's probably feasible, Pete.
Mm-hmm. Cliff's asking how much competition is going to be for him. That's a really tough call. The draft isn't overloaded with defensive ends like it was last year.
Draft.
It's got some good guys, but we're missing missing like a real big stud like a Will Anderson. I mean, you have Jared Verse, who's very nice, and Dallas Turner and Lateo out of UCLA. I mean, there's some injury
Bob
concerns with him.
Robinson and
Yeah,
there's
like
another guy.
all those guys that could be good,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
are they
I'll
Chase
double dip.
Young?
I would double dip. I would sign Chase in free agency and draft Jared Verse.
I'd get behind that because you can have
Ab-
Jared
ab-
Verse learn.
Absolutely, because you're only signed, like you signed Sweat for 4 years, and the reason you got him for 4 years because you need to develop the guy that's going to replace him. And that goes with everybody as you go down the line. At a certain point,
Yeah.
guys get 28, 29, 30 years old. You better have the replacement ready because you don't know when you're going to need them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's,
Yeah,
I believe that's what Poles is trying to do. I mean, the good teams do it.
Mm-hmm.
The great teams do it, I should say.
I think he can
They're
fall
ready
in
for this stuff.
that same category as Miles Murphy. Miles Murphy, great talent in college, is now buried in the draft depth chart behind guys like Hubbard and a couple other guys. So
what's going to happen in 2 years, Walt? What's going to happen with him in 2 years? He's going to be ready. And he's going to kill it.
Yeah, he very well could be. I mean, I think he can do fairly well now in like a secondary rotation and not be so far back.
Right.
But
it's a rookie season. You see where they make the changes next year. You watch. He'll move up.
To answer Cliff Victoria, he says Jared Verse or Marvin Harris Jr. I say both.
Both.
Mm-hmm.
Both.
You're getting Marvin Harrison Jr. first, and then with the later on pick, you get Jared Verse. Now, if you really want to pontificate, let's say Arizona wants to trade for the first.
Dan's here. Don't let him hear that.
They want to trade for the first overall pick if we have it, and
I thought Dan shut his phone off.
And give up both of their first round draft choices. Then we could have 3. And with 3 first round draft picks, I would take Marvin Harrison, Jared Verse, and an offensive tackle. That's just me.
Do you need an offensive tackle though? Because I don't know.
They're
both doing okay.
Who wrote both on the screen? Did somebody write that? One of you guys?
Me.
Okay, thank God. I thought it was Dan.
It was Dan. No. He sent a text saying he was shutting his phone off because the score was on there and he didn't watch the game yet.
Oh, that's right. I forgot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So
I did. Go ahead, Pete. Go ahead, Bob.
No, I was just going to address possibly going with Connor Williams at center. That is a possibility too. I know who did we have on the show 2 weeks ago? God, what's his name? Nick. He did a video on that talking about a couple guys we can go for free agency. It was Connor Williams and
Van Pran.
Somebody
else. There was 3 guys. I thought he said.
He also talked about possibly getting Wilkinson too, at defensive tackle.
Yeah, out of Miami.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's the only one I really couldn't get behind. We got good defensive tackles coming up, and if you let Justin Jones go, I mean, I honestly feel like Dexter can slot right in to his position right now. We don't, and if you're really worried about defensive tackle and want to get one, crap one in the draft, man. The defensive tackles there's no stud defensive tackle right now outside of maybe Newton out of Illinois.
Yeah.
But you can get a guy like Mason Smith or even Jonathan Wingo, both out of LSU. Honestly, I'd go for both somehow, but that would involve trading back to make that happen. And do I really want to do that? It really depends. Really depends.
I don't want my center.
I actually did a mock, Pete. Oh, sorry.
I don't want my center to be 6'6". That to me is too tall for my center. Seeing as though my quarterback's only 6'3". I mean, it's not a overly concerned, but having tall centers like that, I'm worried about the ball hitting them in the back of the head and passes getting deflected. So I think Connor Williams is 6'6", if I'm not mistaken.
Somewhere in that range, yeah. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely some stuff there. I mean, maybe even look at some of the lesser quarterbacks in the draft if you really want to go that way. I wouldn't do it till a later round.
I wouldn't even do it at all because
no, I'm in that boat. I wouldn't touch him. But let's say you want to bring somebody in.
Yeah, I mean, because if you sold on Fields, and then you still have Bajan. Bringing in the third quarterback. I mean, if I have other holes, I'll fill the other holes. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You could maybe look at a quarterback next year because Bajan's deal is short, but he should be able to hang around. There's no reason he shouldn't be able to hang around as a backup on this team for a while, man.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
just something. Maybe I'd look at it as you keep Bajan as in Peterman's slot as the third quarterback. Keep a secondary quarterback behind Fields, and then
Uh-oh. Now you're talking blasphemy there.
I know. And then you just have him, and then if Fields works out, great. I mean, that way you're not going after a top flight quarterback, like a first round quarterback. I'm talking like late in the draft kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah. But do we
Yeah.
even have any late round draft picks? Didn't we trade them all away?
yeah, we don't have him.
Yeah,
Well,
we're done
you,
after the 5th round, right?
Yep.
you never know with Ryan Poles.
This is
You
true.
never know.
We'll have more picks. I'm
Oh,
assuming.
yeah.
I just the guy's not gonna. We're not gonna have 6 picks in this draft. Is that what it is? 6 or is it 7?
6 maybe.
2 in the
it's 6.
first, none in the
Yeah,
second,
it's
1 in the
6.
third, 2 in the fourth, 1 in
It's
the
6.
fifth.
I'm looking at the mock I just did, which I never do until the day after Christmas. You'd like my mock draft, Peach.
What
I
you
don't know if
got?
you guys want to hear it.
Let me hear it.
Yeah, go ahead, Foster.
So I took number 1 and traded with the Cardinals for pick 4, hoping we'd get Marvin Harrison Jr., but I had another wide receiver that we would have got. He's going to I can't remember his name. If I said it, you guys would know it. Well, so what happened was because New England jumped up and the Giants jumped up, so it was the Cardinals, the Giants, New England, and then the Bears. They didn't take receivers. The Giants ended up taking quarterback.
So in your mock we had the first pick, you saying?
We had the first pick. I traded it with the Cardinals for the 4th pick, and I ended up taking Marvin Harrison with the 4th pick. Traded the 5th pick for the 14th pick. I'm picking up a bunch of other picks with these, obviously.
Okay.
Went from 5 to 14, and Verse went 13. So I took Chop Robinson at the edge for pick 14. Then I get down to 20, which this is one of the picks that we got from the Cardinals. And Jazar Newton was available. So I took Jazar Newton, defensive
And that's
tackle.
the guy out of Illinois?
That's the guy out of Illinois. Then we've got the 35th pick because that was part of the trade with the Cardinals. We only got their first next year. They didn't give us any other picks. They gave most of the picks this season. Then I took Cooper Beebe, a guard out of Kansas State. You familiar with him, Walt? Any of you guys know?
Sounds familiar. I've seen the name.
Yeah, he's up there, and he's a guard. And this is that the whole reason for even taking him was I'm still always going to be concerned with Tevin's health. We need a bet. Whitehair and Patrick cannot be our backup guards, man. They just can't be. We know they're gone anyways, but I'm just saying guys like that cannot be a backup guard, so we need somebody to develop. Then with the 45th pick, and I didn't want to do this, but he was going to be the next guy taken in this draft. I took Cedric Van Pran at center. So I've traded now with the Cardinals and the Chargers. I traded 5 for 14 with the Chargers and picked up some more picks from them, including a 3rd next year. So next year we've got the Cardinals 1st and the Chargers 3rd pick, along to go with the 11 other guys that I got. And what I ended up doing was I couldn't help it, but at 66, Michael Penix Jr. was there. See, now I wouldn't take him if I was really drafting. I just took him because I did not expect the guy to be sitting there, considering he was like at 38 on the draft list. And then the next fall off in players was like 15, 18. So I grabbed him because we had pick 69 anyways. I wasn't even sure to pick. I'm going with another edge rusher because I don't want just 2. I want 3 or 4 of them, like some of these other teams got. So I took Landon Jackson out of Arkansas. I don't know if you're familiar with him. I need to do. It's probably not even the guy I would take. I just was looking at the position. And then 101, I took defensive tackle. And this is a guy, I think somebody else brought him up, Tavondre Sweat out of Texas. So There's a couple more. I drafted a tight end, a cornerback, and a safety after that on top of it.
Yeah, I mean, it sounded good. I mean, the only issue I have with taking a lot of picks this year is if you're looking ahead to 2024, we have roughly about 16 spots on the roster open. Well, I'm not including practice squad, just the active roster
Right.
itself. So you're going to end up putting some of these rookies that you get later in the draft on the practice squad, and then you lose them to be poached anyways.
Yep.
So
We
it's
see
like,
that happen.
why make the picks at the same time? You know. The funny thing is, though, bringing up the mock drafts, I've done a couple. I don't have any, here to look at, but I've noticed trading with the Cardinals, they like to take Dallas Turner at number 1 overall, at least for me, which I find preposterous. But
Dallas Turner.
yeah, the edge out of Alabama.
Wow.
Yeah, that's crazy. He's later down the list.
Yeah, so I don't know what's with the however they do their algorithm to pick the players, but jeez.
Well, in this draft, they took Caleb Williams, and the Giants ended up taking an offensive tackle. That's what it was. And New England took the other quarterback. So because they can, they'll be able to dump Mac Jones, man.
Yeah,
It'll cost them a little big deal. They nix the 5th-year option, and they pay the 4th-year salary, which is what, $1.2 million. That's nothing. To switch out quarterbacks, it'd be worth it for them.
You know about New England?
Yeah. Because remember we talked about it, Peach?
Yeah, I don't think Belichick, he likes his quarterback. So yeah, he's
I
looking.
don't either. That's
Yeah.
my only thinking. I was taking a chance with it, depending on what New York is going to do. But we talked about it so much. They got that $160 million contract with $69 million guaranteed. They pretty much need to go with Daniels for at least a year, maybe 2 more.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be tough to
get
get out from under.
Yeah. I tell you what, I'm glad we didn't draft Mac Jones. I tell you that. Man. Fields may have his challenges, but I'm glad we didn't draft that guy.
I mean, is it Mac Jones really that bad, or is it that Bill Belichick and co. is now starting to hit that wall, so to speak, in terms of evolving with the game? Because every coach goes through that. We saw, even with us, we saw Mike Ditka do great in the 80s, and then when he went to New Orleans in the 90s, his game plan just didn't work anymore.
That's true.
Is that the case? Because eventually, all coaches are going to hit this area where it just doesn't work. Their system may have been great years ago, but now it's not.
The unfair thing with the
more
Ditka
Mac
thing is,
Jones.
he was the GM, man. He didn't have Jim Finks pulling the strings for him, making these picks. So he just had too much control, and that's not who he ever was, man. Ditka's a great motivator for the right guys, and he had the right guys.
Well, Dan Campbell's following that same footsteps.
Yeah, but it's not even the motivation that I'm talking about. Like, yeah, that's a whole nother story with Harbaugh and all these other fools thinking he's going to come to the Bears. That ain't happening, but I want it to happen either way. But that style of jumping up and down the sidelines, yelling and screaming, Dan Campbell really isn't that way. He has passion, but at the same time, he's not overly aggressive. If that makes sense. And that's what I like about Dan Campbell.
Yeah, I really like what he's doing up there, man. I do. I said some shit about him earlier, and I think I said it Thursday, man. I was wrong about the guy. Period, man. Cliff's got a question for us too when we get to it.
I'm not convinced on him. I'm still skeptical. I think his style of coaching isn't sustainable because when you're emotional like that, I think that runs out eventually.
It does, Peach, but for right now, when you got a team at a turning over phase, it seems to be more effective to me than Flus or Nagy. I mean,
I give you that. I give you that.
And then because the guy's been in the league, he knows what it's like from both sides of the ball. He was a longtime player and he was a longtime coach. He can make that adjustment as time goes on with these players, and he'll be able to do it if he follows through with it.
I'm just saying.
At this point in time, what he's done in 14 months, you take where they were 14 months ago to
Yeah.
where they are now.
Yeah.
What was the stat? The first time they've been 8-2 since 1969 or something like that, 68.
Yeah.
So I just say, I get what you're saying,
Mm-hmm.
but I think you get to a point in that if that team's turned around, next year he's probably still going to be doing the same thing because they still need a couple more guys on that team. They're not done, they're not done.
And that's the concern I have. I think like it may work this year, it may even work again next year, but come the year after that, players are going to start tuning him out if that's all you have is that emotional side. I mean, you have to come up with something else, and that's what I think would happen with Ditka because with Ditka, I mean, him being emotional. I mean, he has his coordinators calling these plays, but was it sustainable after that 86 or 85 season? You had the 86, 87, a little bit of the 88, and he's like fading away. That's what I'm saying. You got to have some type of substance eventually. I mean, like I said, it may work for 3 or 4 years, but after that,
well, see what Ditka it was 10 years. Just so you know, they did that for 10 years.
well, I'm talking about the
They had two
effectiveness.
bad
Though.
seasons. What?
I'm talking about the effectiveness though, because he started being the coach in what 81 or 82. Ditka became our coach in 81 or 82.
Before my time.
Strike
Yeah.
season. Was the strike season 83 or was it 82, 83?
So that's what I'm saying. So he won the Super Bowl in 85. 86, they were decent. 87, 88. By 89, they're not in the top like that anymore.
No, 89 was a bad year. 90, they were good again. 91, they were good again. 92, they started falling off. That's when he got fired. He actually had a great run. And what my question was going to be, would you take that 10-year run where we only had 2 bad seasons out of a coach? Because I would. Because they're not Belichick is not there's how many people are going to repeat that where it doesn't happen anymore. Like when we were growing up, Page, man, all the coaches stayed the same forever. Landry coached the Cowboys from 1960 to what, 1990 or something like that. What's his name in Miami? He was there forever. The guy in Washington, he was there for 12 or 14 seasons. It just doesn't, we don't get teams like that. Who do you got? Belichick, Harbaugh, Pittsburgh, who's been great because they've had like 3 coaches.
Tomlin, Reed.
They've had 3 coaches in my lifetime, Pittsburgh.
Tomlin, Reed, then you got the guy in Seattle.
Yep.
Pete Carroll, yeah.
Pete Carroll. But even he's had his moments and they're not as good as everybody thinks anyways, man. They're on a downhill thing right now again. I believe it. Did they win today?
No.
The
Rams came back and won.
I don't think so. So I'm just saying.
My
I
major
said at the beginning of the year that Geno Smith wasn't going to be sustainable for another season, and then I said, "Wow, I might be wrong here," but I keep looking at it now, and who knows? I don't see him sustaining this. Pete Carroll's probably going to be gone at some point soon. This could even be his last year, man.
Yeah, I mean, my main concern with a guy like Jim Harbaugh is that kind of attitude. It's going to work in college, because they're kids. For what? They're kids. You can do that in the NFL, and we can look at the Urban Meyer experiment in Jacksonville. You can't do that with these grown-ass men anymore. Not in the modern NFL.
Yeah,
they will throw you away. They won't play for you.
I think you said it Thursday, Peach. Harbaugh is good for 4 or 5 years, and then he wears out his welcome.
Yeah. No, I'm of the belief that everywhere he's been, he's won.
Yes.
So, San Diego State, I think it was.
Yep.
Stanford.
Yep.
San Francisco, Michigan.
Yep.
He's won. So, yeah, his style may be a little bit. He reminds me of his brother actually. So I think he'll be able to be sustainable like his brother is. I think in San Francisco it just went by the wayside. But I don't think he lost it. I didn't think he had lost the locker room. I think the players were still listening and buying into it. He had problems with the ownership, I believe.
check
That
a little more, because I forgot where I saw this, and it was either yesterday or the day before. And it was somebody who knows them both very well, and he's going, man, I just do not understand how Jim Harbaugh and his brother can be completely so different. And then they went on to show, well, Jim's kind of been a little snobby and stuck up, man, if you go back, because everything was always given to the guy. He always got everything he wanted, even going into the pros. There's a thing on YouTube, man, where I cannot remember
He's
who it
an
was.
NFL
Somebody
quarterback.
that knew them both, and he said they are nothing alike. Nothing alike. They are not the same. He can't even believe they're from the same family. He's known them that long, since they were kids.
It's usually how it
So,
happens. I mean, the thing with San
yeah.
Francisco was he not only lost the faith with the ownership. I mean, there were cracks in the locker room too near the end of that run. So it
Well,
was one thing or the other. Was the ownership going to break down, or was the locker room going to break down? It was just a question of when.
he's
Yeah.
everywhere 4 or 5 seasons. How long has he been at Michigan?
I mean, let's be real. He won some games, sure, but has he won the big game? No.
I don't know.
And that's how we measure our coaches, really.
Well,
Day,
I can't go with
to an extent. People measure the coach by, did you win a championship? There's great coaches that have won plenty of games, but they're not at that same level as someone who may have won 1 or 2 championships in the eyes of some people. And
yeah. I just think that, I mean, I don't give a lot of credence to that, because Reed, he didn't win a championship for the longest. And I thought he was all along a good coach. When he left Philadelphia, I was hoping the Bears would have grabbed him. But, I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now he's won those Super Bowls. So now he's catapulted himself into that next level. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
There's so many tiers of coaches. There's the Bill Belichick, where I have
But he was already viewed as a good coach, though. Reed was.
Yes.
I'm not saying he's a bad coach. What I'm saying is he's not in the upper echelon.
Well, I think that
Harbaugh. I think Reed has made the jump.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He has now. Yeah.
Coach.
But I'm just saying,
we know what his statue is. He's going to have a statue there when he leaves.
I mean, yeah. But at the time,
but I thought that's what we want.
But I mean, I'm looking at Harbaugh, and in his 4 years in San Francisco, I think he went to the championship game 3 times, if I'm not mistaken, and the Super Bowl once. He went to
I know at least twice in the Super Bowl once, but do you remember who was coaching that team before Harbaugh took it over?
Was it Mike Nolan or Mike Singletary?
Mike Singletary.
Okay.
So Harbaugh and that team, I don't know. I think they made the playoffs with Singletary the last year, or they had 10 wins and didn't make. It was something, but the team was already talented, and Singletary could not get them over the line. So when Harbaugh walked into Frisco, the only thing he was really missing was a quarterback. Go back and look. Go back and look at the roster for the teams the year before Harbaugh took over that job. I mean, that's completely different than being handed the Bears 2 years ago. It was like you taking over San Francisco now if you had no Brock Purdy, let's say. That's where he was at. And just throw any random average quarterback in there. And we talked about it before. Well, he kind of elevated Kaepernick to a point, but he could only take that so far.
Yeah, but that's more Greg Roman than anything else.
He drafted Kaepernick. I mean, so that's the guy he wanted. I mean, because Alex Smith was already there when he got there. And he turned Alex Smith into a pretty decent quarterback. But, he wanted to do more. So he wanted to, I guess, more running quarterback. So he got Kaepernick. To Shorty's point, that if we bring in another coach and hoping to have Fields, maybe Harbaugh is the guy to have, because he seems like he prefers that type of running quarterback. After he had Alex Smith running the ball, then he had Kaepernick, so maybe that's the style quarterback he wants. Because watching that UCLA game yesterday with USC, I was very disappointed in Caleb Williams. I was watching it going, I'll stick with Fields over that guy.
I mean, I think anyone coming in, even if they do decide, and then we'll get to Cliff's point here. Coming in, you have a 24-year-old athletic quarterback that can move the ball. We've seen it. You're just now starting to get him the right tools. Now you need to kind of put the right staff around him. I don't think even if you bring in a guy like Ben Johnson, he'll probably stick with Justin Fields. There's too much upside to just throw him away in favor of the shiny new toy that might come up. But now to jump over quickly to Cliff, what he's asking here is, where would you take Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'd take him number 1. I'd write that ticket every chance. Give me that same situation 1,000 times, and I will give you the same answer 1,000 times. He's that good.
We got some good stuff here in the chat. Jay Sanders and Bear Troop 9 happen to join us too. I got you, though, Walt. Cliff's asked this twice too. I'm sorry.
That's why I
guys.
wanted to get to it.
Yeah. Cliff asked,
That's a good question.
where would you take Michael Harrison Jr.? He's curious. Peach, where would you take him?
In my ideal world, I would have to have a strong relationship with these other GMs. If I'm drafting number 1,
Gotcha.
and a team, wants to move up. All right. I'm like, all right, who you planning on taking? If they tell me a quarterback's name, okay, how far am I now dropping down? Because I don't think we can go past 3 and still be able to get him. So the question becomes, is the Giants, New England, somebody that will take him? Because that's my fear, because I want to be able to get more draft capital.
Right.
But to Walt's point, yeah, you just don't risk it. Just go ahead and take number 1. But see, I still want that extra draft capital because we still devoid of talent. So I'm like, because it was somebody, I forgot who it was that was saying they would ask the teams when they asked to trade them, who you plan on? Oh, Dave Wanstead, when he was working with Jimmy Johnson, he said Jimmy would ask him, who you planning on taking? And if they said offensive player, that's who they're looking at. They're like, nope, we ain't gonna make the deal. So that's what I'm saying. Hey, I just gotta have a good enough relationship to where.
So how far would you go? Where would you take him at? How far back would you go?
3.
Raging.
That's what I said. 3. I wouldn't feel. I couldn't go no further than 3.
See, I wouldn't. I'm just going to make it real easy. I wouldn't go no further than 2 because with the Giants having the second pick, and that's who I think it's going to be. If they don't have the first, it depends. I'm assuming that Carolina Panthers are going to end up with that first pick just because of how bad they are. So, and if the Giants are 2, they'd be the only team I'm trading with. If they're guaranteeing me, they're not taking them because they're not going to take a quarterback. The only other option would be for to help that offensive line they got. And if I'm the Giants and I'm 2 and he's there, I'm taking Harrison because I'll get the quarterback in 2 years.
Yeah, I mean, it really depends.
Kind of stuck with Jones, man.
Yeah, I don't know if it depends on how bad it was ACL he injured, right? Not his Achilles. So it depends on how long it's going to take him to come back from that.
Yeah.
And what you want to do in that situation. And then you got to look at it as, yes, you can trade it and lose out on Marvin Harrison Jr. It could happen. I know people are salivating at the chance of possibly trading with the Cardinals to get those 2 first-round picks.
Yeah.
But, I mean, the Cardinals could swoop in and be like, oh, I told you I was going to move on for Kyler Murray, but just kidding. And then you grab Marvin Harrison Jr., then you're asked out. I mean, you can go after a guy like Kean Coleman out of Florida State. The build is very similar, but the production is not there.
That's who I wanted to take if I didn't get Harrison. That's the guy.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the production isn't there. He's got, 7 games in, a couple 100 yards here or there. I mean, I know there's a huge difference between Florida State and Ohio State in terms of the kind of talent you have there. But at the same time, Marvin Harris Jr. is putting up these astronomical numbers with another guy like Mbuka, if I'm pronouncing it incorrectly, I'm sorry, who can also eat up his targets. And he's still doing insane things with that club.
Yeah. It'd be tough to pass on it. I mean, it'd be tough to. As I
where
said,
would you draft him at, Walt? Would you still draft him first?
Yeah, as soon as the draft
Okay,
started,
I would
I'd
too.
put that card in faster than Bryce Young last year.
I would too if I didn't get the trade with the Giants and them guarantee me they're not taking him, that they're taking a quarterback, because that's the only way they want to move up. There's no reason to move up unless the Giants. Why move up if you are not taking Caleb Williams? Why move up? Because you can get Drake May second. I'm just saying, you can get Drake if you're second. You could take Drake May or Marvin Harrison if we don't get him, right? You could go either route there.
Could. Definitely could.
BT9 brought up some stuff about Harbaugh because everybody in the chat's talking about, I want Harbaugh as coach. I think somebody said Harbaugh as coach and somebody is the OC and Rivera is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Roman is the
OC. Kids I starred, and I wanted to get to this because he brought it up and he was talking about it in the chat. We'll go back to it real quick because he actually asked me. Where is it? Oh, okay, here. Fair Truth 9. So it's kind of be like talking over our team. It should be taking over our team. It kind of be like taking over our team. Young, talented team. My question to Foster, and this is for all of us, is how Harbaugh drafted once he took over. And you guys don't even have to answer because he already answered. He answered it the way I would have answered it. My answer would have been, you know what, I got to go back and look at his draft picks. I don't think they were the greatest, but I don't know for sure. So he ended up answering this question, and this is, if I have the information, under Harbaugh, they didn't draft so well. They didn't draft well. So it's important if he comes to hear that Poles would maintain full GM control.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with his drafting was, especially in 2011, the 2011 draft, or coming into the 2011 season, you had the 7th overall pick in the first round. You took Alden Smith. Not bad, not great. And then you took
20 sacks. He had 20 sacks his rookie year.
19 and a half. He had 14. So he gave you 2 good seasons in 2011 and 2012.
Yep.
After that, he didn't really play. He played, started 8 games the year after that, hitting 19 and a half. And then he did 6, 7. He got suspended 2 years.
Yeah.
And, couldn't come back. So, I mean, he gave you 2 good years. What do you do? The rest of the other draft picks, you have guys like Kendall Hunter.
2 years for a top pick like that just isn't feasible. I mean, you can't sustain
I think that. I think he had other issues, off the field issues, and they still drafted him.
He did.
Yeah. They drafted him anyway.
Then you move on to
Poles ain't going to do that. He's proven he's not going to do something like that. I'm just saying. Sorry, Walt.
Yeah. You move on to 2012. You have the 30th pick. You take A.J. Jenkins, the wide receiver at Illinois. Do you even know who that is?
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that pick. That was a bad pick. A bad pick.
Only because he went to Illinois is the only reason I know who it is. The only reason. If he was at any other school, I wouldn't know the guy.
You have another decent pick the next year with Eric Reed. He wasn't too bad. Then they traded a bunch of picks there. And then the last draft, Jimmy Ward, the safety.
Right. I remember that pick too.
He's still playing with the Texans.
Right.
To what capacity, I don't know.
Yeah. That was his last number 1 pick. He's out of what, Northwest?
Yeah.
He's out of the Illinois school.
Northeastern Illinois University, yeah.
Yeah.
So his drafts weren't
his
drafts weren't great. But so I don't know. I mean, Poles is doing a fine job making the calls himself.
Jay Sanders says Poles isn't drafting well.
I disagree with that.
Yeah,
I think Jay Sanders, do me a favor. Just go back and look at all the picks he took this year and grade those picks. You don't even have to go look at last year, man. You can if you want, but I just, if you go and you look at this year, grade those picks. Because I think he's drafting pretty darn well. All things considered, he's not going to hit on every pick, but it sure seems like we get one of his late round picks poached every year. Matter of fact, we have. I'm not even saying those guys are great. I still wish we had Bell on the practice squad, and I think even Zach Thomas. I don't know where he's at exactly. I know he's on Where is he at? San Diego, 53-man roster. He's on the roster. I don't know if he's
Still on
playing.
the Rams, I think.
And the Rams,
The
yeah.
Rams, yeah.
So,
San Diego, LA, whatever them teams are, because I can't stand either one of them.
yeah, I mean,
Just because they're in LA.
he hit well on the first round pick this year, but to be honest, you can't really grade a draft class until at least 3 years in, if not more.
I think Dexter's going to be something, though. I really do, man. Been saying that all along, and a lot of people too agree with that. But again, like you said, talk to me at the end of next year about a couple of these guys, and then we'll have a better understanding of where his first 2 drafts went after 3 full seasons.
I mean, you can make the argument of Velus Jones, kind of short-sighted in that case because you barely use the guy, period. And then when he does, you're just like, oh, he dropped the ball or, it fumbled. I mean, we're still sticking on these 2 fumbles he had in his rookie season. Like it's happening all the time when it's not.
But he ain't playing, man.
He's not playing. He was a healthy scratch again today.
Yeah, that doesn't even matter because you're not going to hit on every draft pick. Who does?
Yeah, you're going to miss. You're going to miss sometimes, of course.
You even take both his drafts and grade every player and then get back to me. And you can't even grade him, like you just mentioned. You can't grade him because you can't grade a guy after one. Okay, most players you can't give him a grade. I give him an incomplete after the first season, and that's anybody. It's anybody, man. Even guys drafted in the first round. There's that few that are just that great talents that come out. But how many guys in the first round don't even stick around 4 or 5 years?
It's true. I mean, look at Tyree Wilson. He just now got 2 tackles for the first time I think all year.
Yeah,
and he was taking number 7. And
yeah, I think he was injured at first, if I remember correctly.
he had the dual foot surgery going into the draft, so he didn't do the combine or anything like that. Then you throw the 7th round pick, the 7th overall pick at him with the Raiders. So then he goes into training camp hurt, still dealing with that foot issue. Then he gets in there and doesn't produce. So.
Yeah, I think when a player's injured like that, taking them in the top 10, I wouldn't do it. Too many times you don't know how a player's going to respond to injury. So yeah, I wouldn't do it. I mean, even when the Bears drafted Karimi, he had knee problems at Wisconsin before we drafted him, and
we knew
here we are still drafting in the first round. Same way with Chris Williams,
and we knew it.
He had back problems at Vanderbilt. I think that's where he was at Vanderbilt. I think he had back problems there, or wherever he was, and we still drafted him. I mean, he continued in the league. When you have certain injuries, I'm sorry, you're not getting drafted in the first round by me. I'm sorry. You go down. I mean, like Eddie Jackson, he was a good player at Alabama. He had a broken leg. He didn't go to the 4th round. Work out well. But when these guys have these injuries and you still take them in the first round, man, I'm skeptical of that. I'm sorry. I'm just I can't hitch my trailer to that boat. Just can't do it. I'd rather not.
He's not lining the boat up on that one, guys.
No.
I'm going to get back to Jay Sanders because he brings up Dominique Robinson. Everybody's brought up Velus. Like Mr. Mayhem said, he said Poles needs to admit he messed up on drafting Velus. He will when Velus is released, man. That's when he'll admit it. Whenever he takes care of the matter, he'll admit it. You don't know what's going to happen now in the next 6-7 games, the next training pick.
My question is
also he also brought up Doug Kramer. Well, Doug Kramer was poached. He's on a roster.
He's back.
So you can't. Actually. I don't even know how can you say that's a bad pick. Not to mention all the trade downs. He traded all those picks back and got 11 guys 2 years ago, and this was one of the later round picks. So I can't even if Kramer's crap, I can't even hold that one against him because it was such a late pick. But he's been poached. He's on another roster. Did they release him?
No, he signed a couple of days ago with the practice squad for us again.
Okay,
So
so that
Arizona
team that took him
released.
had him on the roster and then released him, and we got him back. I did hear that.
Yeah, so he is back on the Bears roster.
So do we call this a missed pick? Because I can't yet.
I will call it a missed pick for one reason. Instead of putting him on the active roster, we put Feeney. We used a 6th-round pick to trade for Feeney instead of keeping Kramer.
Yeah, but Feeney was more so
Did
being
you look at
used as a
Feeney's
guard.
tape? Did you look at
No,
all
what
of
I'm saying-
Feeney's tape?
No, I mean I thought Feeney was decent when he was coming out because I think he came out of Indiana.
Okay.
But the point I'm making is, if we're having to go trade for another guy from another team, giving up a draft pick to get another guy in, we're not feeling too confident with Kramer as well as Dieter. Now, because I like both of them. I love Dieter. I thought he should be our starting center. But for whatever reason, although he wasn't he wasn't drafted by us. He was an undrafted free agent. But if we was so confident in Kramer, I know he was an IR, but if we were so confident in him, when he then comes off of IR, we're releasing him and trying to snatch him on our practice squad. Why are we not playing him when we're giving up a 6th-round draft pick to go get Feeney?
Because
you
the
gotta remember,
guy who sat out a year and comes in, he's still a rookie to me, and I just, how many rookie centers start day one in the NFL? Especially what, a 6th or a 7th round draft pick?
Yeah.
I mean, and there's a reason. Why did we bring him back? Because he's one of those guys, and he may capably be a center. We don't know. And I'm not even saying I'm right. I'm just saying when you're taking a guy in the 6th or 7th round, like, I'm looking at it going, Kramer shouldn't even make the team, man. We should have 3 better centers than him. But the problem was we didn't. The only guy I thought capable said he didn't even want to come back here when we tried to sign him and give him more money. He goes, nah, I'll take my chances elsewhere. I'm kind of tired of this crap. Can you blame him? I can't blame him.
And I can't blame him because he's absolutely right. I mean, as many years as he spent on this team, it was his due to put him have him on a permanent roster. And instead of putting him on a permanent roster, you go spend a 6th-round pick to go get Feeney. No.
Yeah, but you got to remember too that they brought Feeney in as more of an insurance with the health of Tevin Jenkins. He was going to be slotted in at the guard position initially. He can play center. That's different.
And he's a much better left guard than anything else. That's his best position.
So that's why we went out and dropped the 6th-round pick on Feeney, not to take over at center. That was just sweetening the deal that he could play that position if necessary.
What I thought when I saw the tape, when they showed a bunch of his tape at center, and I'm like, this guy's got to step right in. He's got to step right in. He's better than the centers on this team. And I'm serious. When I saw the tape on Feeney, and it was a collage of all seasons, they're probably showing more of the better stuff. I mean, they showed some of the negatives, maybe not all of them. I don't know. But I was like, he ought to be able to come in here, learn his position, and then somebody could still help him out. I don't know if you guys remember when Mustafa was at center in his first year there. They had Daniels calling all the plays. I don't know if you remember that. Because Mustafa was not ready to play center when we had him playing center. And look how it takes time to develop. So now it's Mustafa's 3rd year. Am I correct in that?
He got to be here like 4 years.
Okay.
4 or 5.
Isn't he playing on Baltimore?
Yeah.
He's played like 100 snaps in Baltimore.
Okay, so
like, oh my God, he's the greatest thing in the world. But bro, you played 100 snaps.
No, see, I don't know what the deal is, but all I know is the guy's playing there and nobody's bitching about it. I don't hear shit all over the news. This guy sucks. We got to get him out of here because that's what I expected to hear.
Well, I mean, the thing is, Foster, with Mustafa, you're going to hear more because first, he's on the Bears, and second off, he's on the field every play.
Right.
So the chance of him fucking up is a lot higher than what he's doing in Baltimore.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of good centers in the draft, so we can definitely go ahead and grab one. There's probably going to be a couple options in free agency, but we don't know. Free agency's kind of weird in the NFL.
Man.
Charles Johnson's in the house. Robbie's back in here.
What's up, Robbie?
Jay Sanders, BT9, all came back. Well, I shouldn't say all.
We're gonna have to let's see where the college games go next week into the bowl season and playoffs, and then we can start getting a better idea of what we're looking at. Thing though, let's get back on track with today's game. Is we have the return of Justin Fields, so let's get into that. What do you think?
Absolutely. I thought he played a fantastic game for the most part, man. People are bitching about, well, he only threw for 169 yards, but I'm like, 269 yards of offense, and a lot of that running. I'm with you, Pidge. I did not like the design shit, but
Right.
when it came to passing downs and the guy took off, you had to be jumping for joy. If you didn't, I don't know what's wrong with you. That's the only reason I thought he was going to run for a ton of yards this year, is because they were going to do everything in the world to make him beat. They want to make him beat them with his arm.
Mhm.
And there's times that he's not going to be able to, because there's times that no quarterback can. And the best part is most quarterbacks got to take the sack or get rid of the ball. There's 5, 6 guys in the league,
Right.
and none of them can even run in my eyes like Justin can. What's his name in Baltimore is probably the closest, but who else? I just thought he had a great game. I thought it seemed like he was prepared well. The thumb didn't seem to bother him making any of the throws.
Mm-hmm.
Made some nice moves. That one where he was running and threw it sidearm.
To Mooney.
And he put it on a rope right to him, man. Like he almost was handing it to him. Do you remember that? I see Walt looking up going, wait, what?
Yeah, I remember that one. I remember it.
He do remember it. So, and the deep ball that we've talked about to Scott, that was right there, man. That was you. I don't know how you could throw that ball and put it in any better position.
I remember
a split second later because of the stop. Well, that's kind of timing and rhythm. And if his route's off, like you guys we discussed earlier, that's going to throw that off. But I mean, overall, everybody still was making mistakes. Let's admit that there was still a lot of mistakes by this Bears team today, and that's what you're going to get when you have a team that's young and an incompetent coaching staff, because they were playing not to lose, and we know you can't do that. Mm-hmm. So as far as Fields is concerned, man, I'm going to give him like a B+, A-. A's hard to get, man.
That throw to DJ Moore though, that was money.
Dead on. It's like we keep saying, man, if he could get the short stuff and the intermediate stuff down, the guy's got it made.
I'm reminded of
as long as there's a line around him, and that line, I got to give the offensive line good marks today too, for the most part. What do you guys think? Justin Fields and the offensive line. What's the chat think?
You go ahead, BJ. Looks like you wanted to say something there.
I think I'm reminded of when Bajan made his first start. I think he threw for 160 something yards, and all I heard was how great this kid was because he threw for 160 something yards. Fields, I hated the design runs, but I thought his passes was good. I thought he kept the defense honest in the fact of throwing the ball downfield, the capability of being able to do that to where they just can't crowd the box. I noticed that Detroit did not have a spy on Fields. All these other teams we've been playing this year in spying Fields to keep him in the box. Keep him in the pocket. He didn't have that. That's why he was able to get loose a little bit today. Also, I noticed that he stepped up in the pocket a lot to throw some passes. I think he only got 2 sacks today, if I remember. The last play of the game and the one by number 54, if I remember correctly. That's pretty decent.
Both quarterbacks took 2 sacks today, him and Jared Goff.
Yeah, so I think that was pretty decent. I'm of the opinion that Fields is my franchise quarterback. I mean, hands down, he's my franchise quarterback. Can he still improve? Absolutely. But he has enough there that I could work with, and I think we can win with him. Just getting more weapons. Uh, because if I'm being honest, outside of Komet and DJ Moore, who am I trusting to throw the ball to when I really need a first down? Because that connection with Mooney is no longer there. So I can't even trust it to be with Mooney. So you're handicapping the man. Who can he throw the ball to if all he got is Moore and Komet? And that's concerning. So you give him another weapon, we're in good shape. So short answer, yeah, I love Fields. I think he's the man. I really do.
Yeah, no, he
He
definitely
is. He is.
showed some flashes there, and like you said, PJ, I don't think the passing yards in a vacuum don't tell the whole story,
Right.
because you got to look at total yardage, and I think that's kind of glossed over by a lot of people, even the national media. They're like, "Oh, he only threw for 160 yards," but I also rushed for 100 yards, so I still moved the ball at the same time. It just wasn't to your liking, I guess.
Yeah.
The design runs are one thing. Like if he chooses to scramble out of the pocket, which he looked more composed in his pocket, even times when it started just to collapse in and out around him.
Yeah.
He rolled out a couple times, got away, and did his thing. But it wasn't like old Justin Fields where he has to run away because there's two guys in his face.
Yeah. I'm like I said, I'm 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 impressed with the guy. I really am. I just wish that he had another target. I wish him and Mooney had better connection. Like I said, that's concerning me. That really is concerning me. Their lack of connection.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely there. I mean, like I said, it's something happened with Mooney between the beginning of the season and those games in Denver and Washington where he just kind of wasn't existent. I don't know what it is. We're never going to know what it is, but something happened. Something's going on. Either whether it's physically, mentally, whatever. There's just a disconnect. Overall, I thought Fields was good. He moved well. He ended up bending his fingernail up to see that he was bleeding all over the towel.
Oh yeah. I was like, geez. Now don't tell me he'll have to sit out a game now because of his finger, but I mean,
Oh,
man,
it looks like he didn't even know he was bleeding. He just went with it.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. So
So I mean, my issue is that Fields is not gonna have to sit through 11 days of crap being dumped on his head, and he didn't do anything wrong.
yeah, yeah.
He,
Um, it's going to be a good test next week, and I'm looking forward to that test for him going against Minnesota again with the zero blitz. Um, I'm real curious to see how he responds to it. Now that he's seen it, now he's going to have to face it again. How are you going to respond to it? What are you going to do differently? What is Getsy going to do differently? I mean, how are we going to handle this zero blitz?
and I think that's the problem there. What is Getsy gonna do? And I don't trust him. I don't want him anywhere near the team. He's gonna get my quarterback killed again.
Yeah, you better not call no empty sets. I know that.
I mean, there was no way around it. Like the team itself, even when the defense gave up, all those points. Like yes, it was on the players to execute properly, but at the same time, they're only executing what's being put in front of them. And if it's bad, it's gonna be bad.
Yeah,
You know. So I mean, the thing is, like, is Getsy gonna get the lead again and be like, okay, now I just have to run the ball over and over again to be like, oh, I got to use the ball this time now? Like, nah, that's my problem with him. And that's the same thing we've seen happen where you get the lead, then you're just like, well, I'm going to play not to lose, and then you lose because you're trying not to lose.
yeah. He got scared again in the fourth quarter, like he did in the second half against Denver.
Mhm. And you're not going to win games. At least you're not going to win games to the point where you're vying for contention of a championship.
Right.
That ain't happening.
True.
So that's why like I'm done on send him away. I don't need the Getsy coming on to the press and being like, we're on to something special here. I'm awesome. Nothing's wrong with me. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, buddy, something's definitely wrong with you.
If I can go back to what I think it was Raging Oracle said earlier about Harbaugh, Roman, and Chico, Washington head coach. That's not a bad lineup if I'm thinking about it. You got some experience there. I'm curious. That got me intrigued. And to add a little bit more to it, have Pep Hamilton as the quarterback coach. I think you can probably get the best out of Fields with that lineup. Harbaugh, Greg Roman, Pep Hamilton as the quarterback coach. You could probably we could probably do something with that. And then why is his name? What the head coach for Washington? I keep on wanting to say Roberto Garza. It's not Roberto Garza. It's Ron Rivera. Yeah, Ron Rivera. He was a pretty decent defensive coordinator. So whoever, I think it was Raging Oracle or Jay Sanders, one of them, suggested that in the chat. That's not a bad lineup. I could get behind that. I mean, I know the
might have
latest
been Bear Truth 9, Peach.
was it Bear Truth 9? I know it was around the time of Bear Truth was making
Harbaugh and Rivera is the defensive coordinator.
Yeah.
I was just so it was Harbaugh as the head coach. I can't remember the offensive coordinator. You said it.
Roman. Great
Roman, and then Rivera is the
defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that was BT9, man. I could be wrong, but I thought that's who said that. I was looking for it. For some reason, I can't find it. No, I think I went past it. But I could agree to that. I don't know. I'm so concerned that it's just going to be because you know how the McCaskies hate to pay somebody and they're not here.
It was Jay Sanders that said it.
Okay, so it's the wrong one then. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah, he said it. I mean, because him and Bear Truth was commenting at the same time, and
okay,
but it was Jay Sanders that said it. Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just wanted to see if we got that right. A ton of good comments in this chat while I'm going through it because I just went through it almost from top to bottom. Really good, man. Everybody's on everything here, dude.
Yeah.
Raging Oracle was grading players even.
Yeah, I mean, I just wanted to look up the Texans head coach D'Amico Ryans.
Mm-hmm.
So I know, Rage is saying you can't do a rebuild with rookie coaches like this. I mean, he's not doing that bad, man.
I've seen.
There's always an exception to the rule. Always.
Who was it?
Think about it.
Courtney Cronin or one of those women who was on the thing with Adam Rank. The dark-haired lady. Her name's not Courtney Cronin. It's
Carmen.
She made the comment. She said, to your point, Walt, that Houston has a whole team wrapped around Stroud to help develop it. I forgot how she broke it down, but they have like several different people who's helping him to where he's less likely to fail. She said it's something that most teams don't do, where you have a lot of a lot of coaches and players, not players, but coaches around him
to help him. it's not even coaches. Like if he's having a problem with something at his apartment or condo where he's living at now,
Yeah.
they have people available to their players to help them in every aspect of life right now because they're young men.
Right.
A lot of them don't know this stuff. And that's a smart move, man. I mean, I even like the fact that we have players and we have people in our locker room who, if a player's having a problem, psychologists, I think there's one or two of them, players having a problem, they can go to them and talk to them about it. But Houston has taken it a step farther, Peach, and that was her point. They have somebody available to help their players in every aspect of life, finances, finding a residence, anything that they have a problem with, they have somebody to go to.
Well, you need
left out on their own with anything.
You need that.
Some of these guys don't have moms and dads that can help them out with this stuff. That or they're
true.
So that's something they should have like everywhere. Everywhere there's somebody young, there should be some type of mentor or somebody to guide them because of the way the world is today, man.
Absolutely. I mean,
but that was her thing. I saw that interview and it was, if anybody can, go look it up. You're right. It was Adam Rank with Carmen
Fatale.
Yeah, because I get ticked at her all the time for the stuff she says. And then I saw that and I'm going, damn it, that's like twice I like what you said. So I don't know what to think about you anymore.
Yeah.
I'm just being honest, man. Because I didn't care for her point a lot. I was always kind of set me off a little bit. And then I've seen a few interviews where I'm like, okay, well, the big thing that matters here is she seems to be a decent human being. And that's where it all starts. That's where it all starts.
She covers the NFC North.
Right. The entire right. Covers all four teams.
Yeah.
The division.
Yes.
And she's a Bears beat writer on top of it. That's why she's on like 3 shows a week. No, I forgot where it's going, but it's just she's a good human being, and that's where it starts with any player, man. If they're a decent human being and they're honestly, openly willing to ask for help and get help and give their opinion and try their best, they're going to succeed most likely.
Now, I wanted to go touch back on Bayless. I didn't get a chance to talk about Bayless when you was talking about Bayless earlier.
Gotcha.
I'm hoping Bayless as well as Tyler are both hitting the jugs machine to catch with their hands and not catch with their body, to where that makes a big difference. Be on that jug machine every day, catching with your hands. And I think, if Ryan Poles is seeing that type of work ethic, he's likely to keep him around. Because if he's seeing that, okay, he's not even trying, he probably would have been cut already. But if I'm willing to bet that he's probably putting in that work, and he's seeing him putting in that work, because that matters. I mean, if you're having problems catching the ball, dropping balls, hop on that jug machine.
Yeah. Oh, it definitely helped, and they both use it.
Yeah.
I just think they also need the ability to redeem too. It's not this. You make a mistake one time, sure, it happens, but then you don't see them for 2 weeks. What are you going to learn from that? How are you going to get better?
You know what I noticed too, Walt? I noticed that when I was hearing Justin over the summer taking players down there and throw it, I heard DJ Moore, I heard Mooney, I heard Chase Claypool. I did not hear Bayless.
No. Komet was with them too.
Yeah, that's so I didn't hear Bayless. So Bayless, why aren't you with him? Justin, why didn't you invite him? Whoever is at fault there, I don't know, but
exactly.
Again, that's when you need to be working on that. Work on those relationships and those connections.
Hey, Pete, what better way to become a good team than to play with your teammates?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even when you're not working, do hang out and play with them. Learn that person.
Yeah, I agree.
Is there a relationship thing there that, it's like you said too? Because I love the way you said it. Velas, why weren't you there? Fields, why didn't you ask him to be there? You put it on both parties, man.
Absolutely. I mean, because
and if there's a problem with that relationship, the team needs to get involved and fix that relationship.
Agreed.
Yeah.
If possible. And if
Agreed.
they can't, well, then
We,
what do? You got to keep the best man, I would say. I don't know.
I guess we're making a bit of an assumption here that he wasn't invited or didn't want to go, or we don't know.
Right.
Yeah.
But as I said, whatever the reason is, that's what I'm saying. Well, that's why I'm posing the question: why wasn't he there? I mean, because
Do we know for certain he wasn't there?
Yeah.
Yeah, because the only ones I heard about was Komet, Claypool, Mooney, and DJ Moore.
Heard, yes, but him being there and not being heard that he's there are two different things. That's what I'm saying.
You know where you're talking about, Peach. You're talking about the get-togethers after practice on Mondays.
No, I'm talking about when they went down to Florida.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I wasn't even, that one didn't bother me as much as the friends practicing together, the quarterback and two or three of his receivers and one of his tight ends hanging out at a high school practicing after practice when they all just work together. So the thing down in Florida, I don't know. There could be a dozen reasons, man. Bella's mom was sick. He couldn't make it. He had prior commitments. So
well, that's what I'm saying. That's why I posed the question. Why wasn't he there? Because if I'm trying to get better, I need to be in that relationship or trying to develop that relationship with these other receivers to get with our quarterback.
I get it. I would just be more concerned while I'm with you, and 40 minutes, an hour later, I'm with the other receivers and one of my tight ends, but you guys aren't there, and I could be including Tunyon and Bellis because of that would have been pretty much the receiving core, except for the Scott.
Yeah.
And they did this not just once. I know about the one because it happened right down the fucking block, and I saw the pictures. And then a friend of a friend's works at the school said, "Nope, it was only those five guys. I don't know who they were, but it was those five guys, and it was Fields, DJ, Komet." You just said them, Peach.
Claypool and Mooney.
Claypool and Mooney. Because she didn't know, but those are the five guys. Those are the guys that were in that picture.
Yeah.
They were in the paper, or the whatever you want to call it, the computerized paper.
Need to do something though.
So I went there every Monday about the same time for 3 weeks after that, and they never came back, the fuckers. One of them's got to live right there, and I got a feeling it's Komet, because that's about halfway in between his parents' house and Lake Forest. And it's a beautiful neighborhood too. You can't, and that all, of course, was right after he got the big extension. So he had the money to just go buy a place there. Probably spent a couple, $200-300 easy, but good neighborhood. You're protected. It's safe. Nothing goes on, and you're not going to lose your money when you buy property there. That's like putting it in the bank in Park Ridge.
Jeez.
Oh, man.
So,
All right, fellas, I'm going to have to get ready to go.
Here, guys, I could keep babbling all night. We've done it how many times, Peach?
Right.
Yeah, it is getting up there. It's about 1:30 here, so.
Yeah, I got an appointment in the morning. A couple of them actually. So
I got like 2, and then I got to drive like 300 miles with no heat. heading into Green Bay territory, Peach. I think it's finally going to happen.
Well, if he comes back without the beard after the holidays, we know exactly what happened.
We know exactly what happened.
That's right. I was mugged. Mugged and shaved.
Guys in the chat,
it'll be really bad when this is all just on, Pete. Just here.
Right.
Just this. With no shaver, man. the old skin burn.
Cliff Victoria, Raging Oracle, Mr. Mayhem, Zach Sullivan. Appreciate you guys being in here. Who else we got? We got Bear Truth 9, Ravi Come Up. Triple R was in here earlier.
Jay Sanders,
Jay Sanders, correct.
BT9.
Yep, Beatrice 9.
And Charles Johnson was here too, and
Yep.
Charles Johnson. Guys, we appreciate all you guys in the chat.
Adam.
As always. AC Adam was here?
Yeah, he came in and said, "What the fuck?" Because we're still on here.
I think STC was here too. We get him too.
Who?
STC.
Oh yeah,
STC.
yeah. He
Cool.
was.
Guys, as always, we truly appreciate you. Hair Bear, my man.
Yeah,
Glad you're feeling better.
Gotta remember the Hair Bear. Always.
We had a good turnout. It was kind of an impromptu show tonight. Might be something we may do on the regular here on Sundays. So
you guys tell us. Drop something in the comments after the show and let us know if it's something you're interested in. Us coming in on a Sunday night late after the game, after all the local crap's done and everybody else has been babbling all day because it was a fest today on Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. Man, it was everywhere today, dude. And I couldn't even look. I was just checking bits and pieces. Paul from Bearski Films was here. Cornelius Walls was in.
James
Ford. How we
Ford.
like to cover the chat, man, because it's all about you guys. We are all the chat, all of us. Literally.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's why
James Ford.
I look forward to having these conversations, with everyone here, not just you guys. I mean, I love talking with you guys, but even just the ones in the chat, it's fun.
Absolutely.
I'm sure Walt and PJ are both done talking to me. I think I had 10, 20-minute conversations on the phone with them, and I think that was enough for them. Leo Factor 1 was in here earlier too, guys.
Yes, he was.
I'm just trying to go. I'm almost through the list. I just want to make sure we get everybody because that's what. There's nothing without you guys in the chat. This is just three fucking guys fucking babbling about their Bears shit. And we appreciate everybody's intake. I love reading the chat, man. I'm going to start doing this, and I want you guys to do this too, Walt and PJ. Go back after the show sometime in the next day or two if you can. 2 reasons. Because there's people leaving comments after the show. And another reason is it helps the algorithm to get this show out so that more people we can start, more viewers. I'm looking at everything that affects our show growing because we want to do that too, man. Yeah. So that's one of the things that does is the after comments help expand the algorithm.
Yeah, I mean, it's a whole big thing. It's always like we say, like, comment, subscribe. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. It's a button click.
PJ was in here. He said something like, "Good evening, gentlemen." What the fuck is that crap?
You gotta watch out for that guy, man. I'm trying to tell you.
Shorty, I forgot Shorty was in here. I'm sorry, Walt.
That's all right. We want to get this information out to as many people as possible, and we also want to get their information to us too, to make us better fans.
Absolutely.
Now we become better fans, we can make better stuff for you. So,
So true.
If you're here anyways, hit the like button. If you want to if you have a question and we didn't get to it, comment. We read them all. Like Foster said, go back and watch the videos. I go back and watch every single show.
Good.
Usually the night of, like once we finish up, I go back and watch it again just to see where things go.
I do it when I can, and it usually takes me a couple of days, but I usually get to them all, even if I think I finally just went back on Thursdays and the Thursdays before and answered some stuff and said thank you and stuff. So
yeah, I saw you do that. So why am I getting a notification for this video
2 weeks ago?
Yeah,
because it's I would when I'm doing that on somebody else's show, I love it. I don't care if it's 2 weeks later, but they get back to me and say something, or at least a thumbs up, or I loved your comment, or I disagree with you, dude. Whatever. Yeah. So, and that's what I like, and I'm just a regular person, man. So that's we all like to get what we're trying to say heard, at least get a response out of it, man. Real quick, I put a Twitter question up. Should this ball have ever been thrown? It was a Bajan pass that should have never been thrown. I think I waited 2 or 3 hours. 13 people looked at it, nobody responded, and I finally said, no, this ball should have never been thrown. I think it was a pass to Komet from Bajent where he was basically surrounded by 2 or 3 guys. And he threw the ball late into a window that really wasn't going to ever be there. But it's getting a response, man. And the people in our chat, especially this chat, our chat, because they're so involved with us, we've got this core of just loyal guys and people. They deserve to, you take that minute or two out and say, hey, thanks, man. Like, who's always commenting is Jason UK. There's 5 or 6 people that can't watch this stuff live all the time because they're not in this country.
Right.
If you go back and look, they make comments continuously, or every 2 out of 4, 3 out of 5, whatever. It's the same people too. Yeah. But everybody just, you got something like Walt said. If we missed it or you want us to bring it up on the next show, send us a damn email. Put it in the chat. Put it in the after show chat first, because one of us will end up seeing it. We get the notifications. One of us will see it. So try and get it before Thursday.
I was just gonna say, to anyone out there that's still here with us now, or you're listening later on, if you're watching the show, or even you're on the podcast, jump on, drop a question. We'll answer it next week, or whenever the next show is. In this case, it'd be more than likely next Thursday. We'll probably do a very brief show on Wednesday.
It'll be brief.
Holiday. Not too long, not 3 hours.
We're gonna talk about some cooking, I'm sure.
Just our Thanksgiving show. It's a Thanksgiving to the chat and everybody who follows us, man.
Yeah.
So get your questions out there. Whatever you want to answer, we'll answer to the best of our ability. So that's your homework, guys. Everyone in the chat.
He fucking ruined all of that because he said 2 of the bad words together. Homework. Well, home's okay.
I know, right?
Separately. Work's not okay separately, but when you got to go home and do work, I'm out, Walt. That's it. I'm done.
I was gonna say we went the whole show and no one got pulled.
I just did it. I pulled myself.
That's what I'm saying. Like, we went the whole show and nobody got pulled. And
so we didn't go the whole show yet.
Oh well. But really, guys, this was really fun, and it's tough for me to say because I was really nervous doing the show. I wasn't sure how I wanted to start it, and you're helping me personally, like all you guys here. I may disagree with what you're saying and all that, but you're doing me a real service. So I want to do something for you guys too.
That was just awesome, man. That you got the balls to come out and say the truth, and that's what everybody needs to do. Unless you're going to injure somebody else, Peach. So don't say anything about my beard because you might injure another person. It's a joke. That's awesome, Walt. I'm proud of you for saying that, man, and thank you for letting me be a part of it, dude. Because everybody can grow and change. Everybody. It just better not be fucking Getsy at the Chicago Bears.
Yeah, he can just go. That's all. Just black cloud.
He can grow someplace else.
He can grow someplace. He can go and grow somewhere else.
If I go to bed in a little
Michigan,
while,
wherever.
If I go to bed a little while and wake up in the morning, and I see that he's been fired. It might make this loss a little more palatable. I can dream.
Yeah.
I can dream.
Yeah. I see hope when I see Fields behind the court center. So I'm more confident in this organization moving forward with Fields as our quarterback. So chat, I appreciate you guys. My co-hosts, I appreciate you guys. You guys make this thing fun, enjoyable, and actually cause me to really pontificate some things because there's different perspectives out there, and it causes you to think because when you living in your own echo chamber, you think you're always right. So when you see different people's points of view, it broadens your horizon and hopefully teaches you a little bit. So I appreciate you guys' different points of view and being able to voice them and doing it on this platform to where you're respectful of one another. I'm really grateful for that because I don't like when I see programs like these and people are disrespectful towards each other, or the hosts are disrespectful towards the chat. I really can't stand that. So I'm glad that we're not there. I'm glad we have a pretty good relationship with our chat and each other. So I'm grateful.
I just
Exactly.
want to say, and then you can wrap it up, Walt. I want to just say good night, everybody. Stay safe. And remember, don't believe everything that you think.
I'll be dog. Don't believe it. Man, that was deep.
Way to ponder that for a while, Foster.
I'm going to ponder that as I sleep. Don't believe everything you think. Wait, don't think.
Well, no, you just shouldn't believe everything that you think.
All right, guys. Well, I think we had a good show. So, what do you say? 1, 2, 3 Bears call it a day.
Yep.
All right, guys. You want to count us down, PJ?
1, 2, 3. Bears.
Bears.